evening, people. Good evening. Back again. Saturday night. Call in night. That's right. It's the show that it's all where it's all about your club, your agenda, whatever you want to speak about. We want to hear about what you want to speak about, what you're thinking about your club. Any club you want. That's what we're here for. People in the chat that are already here, big up yourselves, all of you. Smash that like button, as they're saying, as you're coming in slowly, slowly. All the usuals are here. Even Mr. Anonymous User is here. Good evening to you as well. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all doing well. I understand Love Island's not on tonight, which is a break. So, unless I'm mistaken, pretty sure it's not, right? It's not on Saturday nights. Here we go, man. Ahmed says, hi, Grizz and people. 4 a.m. in Bangkok. Big up the panel and all the best for today's show. At the moment, I haven't got a panel. At the moment, today isn't a one-man mission. So today what I try to do, if people are coming in and thinking, what's all this show about? You should know what this show is about. It's pretty self-explanatory. Look at that. It says, Kall In Khan, the ticker along the bottom. The link will be pinned in the chat. No camera, no call. Unless I know you, of course. If I know you, then I'll let you get away with it. New callers and members will be given priority if it's busy. It's not busy at the moment, people. A little hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. If you call in now, you'll get through, man. Big up yourself, Captain Sal. Captain Sal, tell me what your full name is. You'd have to tell me your surname, just your phone name. Is that Captain Sally? Captain Salim? Captain, what else could it be? Sal? Let me know. I'm intrigued. Bro, don't play me like that. Sonny, bro, you know, I haven't got a clue. I just ask people, is it on? Is it off? What's the situation? Of course, Salman, innit? The only one I forgot. Or did I say Salman? Yeah, I suggested one of the options might be Salman, right? Sally or Salman. What else could it have been? Yeah, Salam, maybe. They're the only ones that came to mind, but big up yourself, Salman. Big up yourself, Carmino as well, people. Yeah, man like Salman Khan. I know you're teasing, bro. Come on, you can see on my face I'm teasing you back. Yeah, listen, he's so happy that he got the score right. He's out partying tonight. Tell him to come and help me on the call-in show. But last time I checked, he was out and about Saturday night. Do you know what I mean? But I'm gonna have to let him host a show or something. Do you know what I mean? I love hearing from where people are calling in from. Big up from Sweden, Grizz Boss man. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, everyone's talking about the UFC. Not really into UFC either. I'm not gonna lie to you. Since what's his name, man? Help me out, people here, man. Come on, the one who beat the Irish guy, man. Since he retired, I'm not feeling it, man. My mind's gone blank, man. You don't know who I'm talking about, right? New follower to your channel, but known you are about for a year. Love your opinions. Appreciate that, bro. Thank you very much. Even if you didn't love my opinions, I'd really appreciate, respect, the support, because it's all about having opinions and differing opinions. Khabib, of course, man. What's the matter with me, man? It's one of them days, isn't it? It's long day. People, the link to jump on is pinned in the chat, right at the top. Call in, and we can get you on. There's a couple people waiting, but I'm going to get you guys on in the background very soon. I'm just letting it all build up slowly, and I'm going to get everyone on soon. Joshua's going to be first. He's in line there. Josh, hope you're good to go. Just give me a couple of minutes, bro. I'm just saying hello to a few people. Nadir, yes, Chris, was watching from Islamabad. Big up yourself. Amazing. Islamabad. Yeah, man. Love Islamabad. Been there a few times. Stayed at the Hilton in Islamabad. No, was it the Hilton? Oh, yeah. I forgot the name of the place I stayed. Let me ask my friend, what was the name of the hotel? But the famous ones in Pakistan, was it Pindi or Islamabad? The same thing, innit? There's a chain of them, man. Oh, my mind's gone blank. Yeah, big up yourself, Guna Vettel. Phil, I hear you. Let's talk some FPL. That's a good question. We will talk FPL, man. I'm thinking about starting a show for FPL, specifically for FPL. Everyone talks a good game about FPL and this plan, this plan. So I thought we have a nice little chat on FPL. A show specifically for the Fantasy Premier League and how it works and how it goes. So yeah, man. Hey Grizz, would you mind rating Nunez's chance out of signing out of 10, please? Nunez? Okay, not the one we've got. You must be talking about Mateus Nunez. Right now, I'd give it about a 5. About a 5. Yeah, that's how much I'd give it. But as I said, people, stop asking me questions. Today's not about, well, no, sorry. The callers can ask anything they want. But you guys in the chat, stop taking cheap shots and asking questions, man. It's all about the people on the show today. It's all about the guests. It's all about the callers in. It's all about their opinions, their agendas, their clubs, whatever they want to talk about. I'm going to bring in 2 people to start off with. I've got Josh, are you there? Josh is not there, so I'm going to go to Josh is there. Josh, I'm going to bring you in, and I'm going to bring you in with my man Miz as well, man. Welcome to the stream, guys. How we doing?
Yes.
Good, my man. Good. How you doing, Grizz?
Not too bad at all, my brother. Not too bad. Miz from out or down in Australia. Is that?
Down
Do we say?
under,
Is that technically right? Like, does it
Down
make
under.
sense?
Yeah,
Yeah,
down under. That's what they say. Down
that's what
under,
they say, right?
Australia. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. And Josh, my man, where you calling from? Let me know. We'll let the
Sunny
people.
Norfolk, sunny Norfolk, UK.
That's what I'm talking about. And sunny. It was probably more sunnier there than in Australia. What was the situation in Australia, Miz?
Maybe.
Today it's not bad. It's looking like it's going to be a sunny day, but we're going through winter, obviously, and it's been raining. It's London weather pretty much.
Today, don't say London weather today. Today's been absolutely beautiful. I'm telling you, this hat or these hats, I've decided to don these hats. So basically,
They look nice on you. They look nice on you, man.
Well, there's a story behind it. So basically, I don't know if you guys have seen, we've done a golf tournament with the Big Six for golf.
Yeah. Technique was looking a little bit iffy there.
No. I agree with you. I'm embarrassed, but there's a story behind it. You know, I don't let like my technique get dusty like that, right? There's a story behind it. I ain't kicked ball in 8-9 years. 8-9 years ago, I was fairly fit. Then life happens to people, right? Happens to everyone. Life happened to me, yeah? That's all I'm gonna say, Josh, right? Life happened to me. I ballooned to a hella lot of stones, right? Only now in the last year, I've come back to about a stone away from my peak fitness, right? So I'm gonna start playing ball again. But 8-9 years, and you know when you ain't kicked ball for 8-9 years, well, I don't know. You probably still
everything's stiffen up. Why?
No. There's a different stiffen up. Because I was so worried that if I kick the ball like a proper technique, because I've got the checkers, I'm going to show you next session. That was only one hole you've seen, yeah? So just watch. Don't go anywhere. Just watch the space.
I believe you.
Don't go anywhere, right? But I was so scared. You know when you kick the ball far, when you're driving, you know you have to have that follow through. Just like in golf, just like in cricket, every sport, you got to get that follow through. I knew if I lift up my leg to over a certain degree, I'm going to pull my hamstring. So I'm not even joking. Ask the boys them. I was worried. I was shit scared. So I kept my shots, boom, like that. Boom, like no backlift. And they look kind of ugly, I'm not going to lie. But it's not over yet. I've won the first hole. As far as you lot know, I've won the first hole. So watch this space. But people.
I ain't going nowhere. I'm going to watch it. I'll see.
No, you watch it. Listen, look, I'm not going to lie. It don't look good. My technique don't look good.
No injuries,
Nah,
no injuries. You're good.
I had an ice bath. I had a hot bath. I had everything. I had a massage. Everything. I'm okay now. I'm okay. About 2 days later, I'm okay. I'm a little bit okay. But listen.
That's crazy.
I mean, thanks for calling me out. It's not a problem. That's what guests are for, man. Josh, talk to us, man. What you want to speak about, man? Talk to us. What's on your mind?
Listen, I'm interested to know what your expectations are and your for this season. What do you believe that we can achieve coming off the back of, such an amazing run, coming off the back of such harmony in the group? What are you thinking for this season?
Um, I'm assuming Liverpool, yeah.
Yeah, well, of course, nothing less.
Okay, okay. Look, with Liverpool, I'm not expecting anything other than competing for every single competition we enter. That's how we do it. That's how we roll. Expectation would be would be to win one of the big ones, Champions League
Mm,
or the Premier League.
mm,
And that's based on not arrogance. That's based on confidence and our track record and the way we've developed as a team, bar that one mad season, which we all know about, which we all know talk about, which was out of everyone's control. Apart from that, the last 3-4 seasons, our trajectory has been up, 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 up. Even this season was mad up. It was so up. It was the zenith. You couldn't get any more up than we were up. Going into the last 2 weeks, no other team in history has reached that
mm.
point. Of course, right at the end, that dipped, yeah, and we lost the league by a point and the Champions League, of course. So based on that, bro, and based on how we're looking and how I'm feeling about the team and how I'm feeling about the squad, because you asked me, that's how I feel. But I want to ask you how you feel because it's about you guys' opinions today. How are you feeling?
Listen, listen. Obviously, as you know already, coming off of what we experienced, it's for me heartbreak is the Premier League over the Champions League, and reason being is because I believe we should have done more in the time that we've had at this pinnacle at this top. Um, Obviously, as you know, yeah, no other team has come close to even achieving what we did. Last last kick of the game, on the last day or the last 5 minutes, last 10 minutes. It's basically the last kick of the game. And then of course Champions League. I feel like next season it's a must. It's a must for that PL. It's a must. Um, and I say that only because I feel like we deserve it. Our boys deserve it. We've put in enough hard work, graft, enough blood, sweat, and tears over the past 3, 4, 5 years. And I'll be honest with you, in my opinion, I think Cavalio, even though I don't want to put too much pressure on him as a young kid, I think he might be that gateway to getting us there. And on top of that, the fact that we have that 5 subs, you don't have to bring him on first, second, first sub. You can leave him for the last 10, 15 minutes to have that little change, that little burst into the box. We're seeing that. You saw that in some of them games that we played. He has that little turn of pace, that little trickery that we need as a team, and as a group. Miz, what do you think? What's your expectations for this season coming up? Are you a Liverpool fan, by the way?
No, Miz is a Chelsea fan, but he knows
Chelsea
ball,
fan.
so he can
Yeah.
pick. Sorry, you're on mute, Miz. You're on mute.
Sorry about that. Yeah. For Chelsea, or do you want me to comment on Liverpool perhaps as
Yeah,
well?
let's go. Let's go Liverpool first, and then we're gonna come on to Chelsea, of course.
Look, I absolutely echo everything that Grizz said. I think it's a bit strange, and I sometimes see Grizz tweet about this, about his fan base, that there is negativity in his fan base. I can't imagine how there could be negativity in Liverpool's fan. Honestly, your football club is run like a machine. Like, how could you sit there and be negative about anything that your football club is
Social
doing?
media and real life, they're two different things. It's
Probably
two
right,
different.
probably right, absolutely right. But getting back to the expectation, exactly what Chris said, you'd be in the mix of all the competition, every single competition, whether it's domestic, whether it's the Champions League in Europe. I expect you guys to probably get one of them as well, whether it's Premier League or Champions League. Who are the team out there that can actually boss and compete for a long period in the likes of you guys and Man City? I can't think of any other team. Maybe Real Madrid again, perhaps in the Champions League. Now they've boosted in their midfield with Tchouaméni, Camavinga rising as well. Benzema doesn't seem like he's losing his touch. Vinicius will only get better. They've added Rudiger in defense, so maybe in the Champions League, perhaps it will be difficult. PSG, maybe, I don't know. They've got Luis Campos, so their mentality, their philosophy could change with the new brother. I think Galtier. He's
Yeah.
a very good manager from, I believe, Marseille might have been previously.
No, he came from Nice.
Nice. There you go. So, and Nice has done very well under him.
Sorry, he won. Sorry. Yeah, he won the Champions, the Premier, Ligue 1.
Ligue 1.
Lille.
Lille, exactly. That's the one that I was wanting to say, Lille. So maybe in Europe it could be a bit of a thing, but in the Premier League, boys, it's you and Man City. Chelsea, yes, we're doing something, and I'm going to get to Chelsea, but besides you and Man City, Man United, they can't even get, like, look how difficult it is for them to get De Jong, let alone competing in the Premier League. Spurs could be a bit of a, we'll see what Spurs does. They've signed now, 6 players, and they've aimed at every single one of their weaknesses, and they've really bolstered well there. So that's a team to look out for. Now getting to Chelsea. What's our expectation? Look, I am absolutely over the moon with the business that we've done recently and how quickly we've moved, especially with the Kalidou Koulibaly signing, which got announced earlier today, but obviously we knew about that a few days ago. He strengthens our defense. When we talk about Rudiger leaving and we talk about a replacement, and there was a moment that we were talking about Nathan Ake being the replacement. For me, looking at Rudiger and then looking at Nathan Ake, I'm like, well, that's not much of a replacement. That's a downgrade for me. But you look at someone like Koulibaly, I think he's probably even better defender than Rudiger. And Rudiger, let's be honest, he was probably at his prime during Thomas Tuchel era. Prior to that, he was good, but he wasn't in his best scenario. But Koulibaly, he's bossed everyone that I've talked to who watches Serie A. He's bossed Serie A for like past 5-6 seasons. So we're getting
the right man for you though right now.
He's the perfect man for us right now. He's the perfect. I'll tell you why.
Why did you say that?
We lack leadership in the back. Rudiger he was a leader, and he was someone that the dressing room was looking up to. Silva, I don't know how much longer he's going to stick around at Chelsea. Yes, he's there this season, and it's a World Cup season. He has said that he would like to continue on for another season after, but you never know. There could be desires to going back to Brazil. There could be desires to playing MLS. So we don't know. There's a question mark with Silva. Azpilicueta is rumored to go to Barcelona. He's got a 2-year contract with a 1-year option. So his immediate future is very well set at Barcelona. So what does that leave us? We've lost Christensen. We've lost Rudiger. We could possibly lose Azpilicueta. Thiago Silva, big question mark. We need leaders in the backline. We can't be going forward with Chalobah and Levi Colwell. We need players like Koulibaly, who's a monster of a defender, who is an icon in Senegal. He's won the AFCON. He's looked up as a boss. Do you know what I mean? Like, look at the stuff that I'm sure Grizz will know. Look at the stuff that Sadio Mane has to say about Koulibaly. Mendy has to say about Koulibaly. Jorginho's got that, that relationship with Koulibaly as well. So for me, perfect, absolutely perfect. We need that kind of a defender.
I'm going to ask you, Josh, why you asking me is that question. Actually, I'm going to ask you now before I give my opinion. Why did you say, is he what you need right now?
Because for me personally, Chelsea, they need in their defense, right? You need somebody you need players to sort of last you for some years to come, right? And that's my first thing. And when I've seen Koulibaly play, because we've played against him a couple of times in Champions League, and he feels like he's almost, there's times where he feels like he falls apart. Now, I remember the game, the 1-0 game when Salah scored, and there was that leadership that you're talking about, which Thiago Silva does provide, but I don't know if Koulibaly is that man for that. Right.
Surely you're not basing it on the one match against Liverpool.
No. I'm not basing it on that one match. I'm just talking about how when I've seen him perform or try to, because that was a crunch match. Don't forget
Yeah,
that that's a
yeah,
crunch
of
match
course,
in a
yeah.
very important game in a very important time. But I feel like with someone like Koulibaly, what is he, 31 now,
31, 31.
32,
Yeah, he's 31.
31,
Yeah.
right? Coming into Premier League at this time, this age, in what we're about to see in this Premier League that's coming up, where I think
Do you know
last
Thiago
year we
Silva
said
came into
that
Premier League when he was 36 or
Thiago Silva's a
35?
different beast than Koulibaly, though. Come on.
I think physically, okay, in terms of level, different beast, but I'm talking about physicality, looking after their body.
Yeah.
Kalidou Koulibaly, have a look at his past few seasons in Serie A, right? He may be 31, but his body shape, it's much like those caliber of players of, your Cristiano Ronaldos, your Silvers. They maintain their body. We could
Maybe,
possibly see some of the best time of
I
Koulibaly
think,
now.
I think Koulibaly, and I said it the other day, and I think sometimes we do a couple of shows that are all about banter and having a laugh and winding each other up, and that was one of them shows. But on a serious level, yeah, because my channel's serious in it. We get serious on this channel. We like to talk real football, man. Stop this banter shit. But on a level, Koulibaly and Silva, Thiago Silva, for me, two of the most underrated centre backs of the last decade. Everyone has spoken about Ramos, PK. Hit me with some others, guys. That have been spoken about in the last decade. Premier League, yeah, we've heard about. Obviously Ferdinand and Terry are old, but
yeah, yeah.
I'm talking about the last decade or so. These two are for me, especially Thiago Silva. They come in for me. Thiago Silva comes in the all-time greats for me. That's how much I rate
Yeah.
him. Possibly top 20. I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know.
Thiago
I haven't,
Silva's
I
a
haven't, I
different
haven't
breed.
sat down and thought about it and
Mm.
put them, think about 15, 20. Koulibaly again. Koulibaly is a magnificent defender, warrior, leader, everything. I think I know what Josh is intimating at, Miss. I think.
Let's
And
go
the
into
only
it.
way, and the only way, and the only way we're gonna find out is obviously with the season, as the season progresses and we watch them, because there's no other way. We can all have our opinion and predictions, and we can envisage how things are gonna pan out. But one thing about Koulibaly, I feel, is he didn't take the steps necessary to put him and get him recognized in that elite category. He should have left Napoli 4 or 5 seasons ago.
Years ago.
Yeah,
He was
yeah,
at
yeah.
he was at the peak of his career. He was an
Hmm.
absolute monster. That game, Mohamed Salah ripped him. That was the only game. The other games, he bossed us. He was a beast. But I mean, I don't know if Josh, maybe I'm giving Josh too much credit here, but where I'm going to criticize Koulibaly is Napoli have been on the verge and the nearly men of Syria so many
Mm.
times. So many times in the last decade or so, Napoli, they're going to break the stranglehold of the Milans and the Juves and uh, but they never quite did. Always the bridesmaids. And one of the accusations was always levied at Koulibaly, and of course it's a team game. We're not going to label the whole of Napoli being the man on Koulibaly, but
Mm.
the likes of Koulibaly, because he was their leader and talisman. They would concede mad, late, crazy goals. Brainstorm. I think it's a crucial, crucial season for Chelsea, and I
Mm.
totally agree with you that you needed someone like him to replace Rudiger. The other names wouldn't have been valid, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Nathan
I tell you
Ake,
what.
Delit would have been, but Delit would have been the future for you guys. So let me just quickly finish, Josh, then you
Yeah, of
take over.
course.
You guys take over. I think Koulibaly is going to be for a rude awakening, um, especially playing alongside Silva. Both of them, you're going to be relying on them. It's not as individuals. Individuals, I still think they can do their bits, but if they're two of your back three, and we still don't know your third centre back is going to be, at the moment, it's Chalobah because you haven't got
Mm.
anyone else, right?
Yeah.
Unless you bring in someone. Even if you bring in someone, it's going to be someone fresh, raw, and most likely hasn't played in the Premier League. Linked with Jules Koundé back again,
Yeah.
uh, Davidol, you know. I don't know any other names of centre backs.
We've been linked with Kimpembe. That seems to be maybe advancing, but that he's a left-sided player, he's a left footer. So
Kimpembe again, you know, comes into the category of. I just think it's crucial that because you're going to be playing 2 out of the 3 are going to be like near enough new centre backs. It's going to be one to look at. Individually, I just told you, I think he's the most underrated, one of the most underrated centre backs of the last decade.
The thing about Koulibaly is, you know, he could possibly play. We think about him playing alongside Silva, and that could definitely happen because he can play the left side. For Senegal, he's played all of his matches on the right side. So, you know, he's very well versed to play anywhere in the back 3. But I actually picture Koulibaly being the player that's going to play in the middle. I don't actually picture Silva playing every single match for us because at the age of 37, 38, whatever it is, with the World Cup coming along, I actually don't think Koulibaly is going to play in the left side. That's why we're interested to get another left-sided centre-back along with Koulibaly. That's why President Kimpembe is coming into, you know, the rumours are coming in. But yeah, I mean, Grizz, you're right. There is that time of adaptation, no doubts about that. But one thing we can all probably agree, and maybe in a joking manner as well, Thomas Tuchel, the one thing he's got it right at Chelsea Football Club is the defense. Like, he's made sure that defenders turned into monsters under him. You know, Rudiger is one name that no one even talked about. And I know Grizz hates this, but he was getting compared to Virgil van Dijk for the past 1.5 years under Thomas Tuchel. And he has been a monster, Rudiger. Christensen has looked much better under Thomas Tuchel. The way Thomas Tuchel has slowly got Chalobah up the ranks as well, as much as that particular game against Liverpool in the Carabao Cup final, where Luis Diaz, you know, ripped a new one for Chalobah. Chalobah still stood his ground, like he still hung about, and he's done a job. And the list goes on, you know, in terms of Kovacic, Jorginho, Alonso as well, hiding some of their flaws. One thing Thomas Tuchel during his tenure at Chelsea Football Club has done is he's managed to get the best out of the defense. Yes, last season, in the latter part of the season, with a whole heap of different circumstances that was going on with our football club, even the defense started to fall apart. So, look, I'm not too worried about Koulibaly. I think that's one that I'm actually quite confident that it's going to work out. I'm more thinking hopefully Raheem Sterling up front, because our attack hasn't clicked under Thomas Tuchel. I'm more worried about, I just hope that Raheem can bring that, you know, that fire that he had.
I'm gonna have a chat to you about that as well. Josh, is there anything else before we keep it moving? I've got the studio's packed now. I want to jump on.
Yeah.
With regards to Liverpool, I want to ask you something. You said it's a must. What if we don't?
Well, if you don't, it's going to be a disappointment. And you have to say it as it is.
Of course.
At the end of the day,
course.
it's been, and if we don't win, let's be honest, there's only one other person or one other team that's going to win it, and that's City. And if we don't win it, that's going to be 5 in the last 6 seasons that it's been City.
Total domination.
That is domination. And let's be honest, 2 or 3 of those seasons, or at least 2 of those seasons, we should have come out on top. You know, we should have.
Absolutely.
But our problem is turning those draws into wins. So this is why I say that Carvalho is important.
I'm with you on the Carvalho shout, bro. I'm with you on the Carvalho shout. Not even another. So I'm not even. I can't explain it, man. I genuinely think the guy is ready to make an impact. People are talking about, he's the future, etc., etc. And the fact that he's only 5 million, people turn a blind eye to 5 million signings. Do you know what I mean? It's all about the name. It's all about the glamour. Carvalho's going to turn up and he's going to surprise a lot of people. It's going to be a lot, and that's 5 something. Yeah. By the time we've ground out teams and they're tired and they think they're still hanging on, the likes of when Nunes and Carvalho come on in the last 15, 20 minutes, it's going to give us a different dimension. I believe. If it doesn't, then obviously we will get criticized, and rightly so for it. But I genuinely think that they're going to bring a different element to our attack, in my humble opinion. But let's see how it goes. Josh, it's been lovely speaking to you, my man. Look after yourself. We'll chat soon again.
Take care of yourself, guys. Yeah.
Look after. Take care. Bye bye. Miz, your defense is solid. Okay, I'll give you that. Tuchel has improved your defense. Absolutely has. The structure he has in place, the defensive traps he has in place, the way he plays the offside line, the way he knows how to handle each different attack has has been immaculate. Where, in my opinion, it's been the opposite is in your attack, your attacking play,
Yeah.
improving your forwards or your attacking midfielders, the likes of Mason Mount, who, in my opinion, is one of the most talented central midfielders, young attacking midfielders in Europe. That's how highly I rate him, but his output isn't great. Ziyech, what a star he came, hasn't really, I think he's gone, or he's still there, he's gone.
No, he's still around, but I think
Yeah,
he's got 1 foot out. He
absolutely.
really wants to go to AC Milan.
We could name all of them: Christian Pulisic, Timo
Yeah.
Werner, Havertz. One of my favorite players, Havertz. Lukaku.
None of them's worked out. None of them's worked
None of
out.
them's worked out.
Yeah.
We can't say none of them are good players.
No, of course not.
So,
I think they're all.
where the credit goes to him about the defense, because Christensen, yeah, okay, mediocre before that, but turned into a brilliant centre back. Rudiger, a good player, turned into a world class centre back.
Yeah.
Thiago Silva. The likes of Chilwell, the likes of Reece James, grown, developed
Yeah.
under Tuchel. Why hasn't he developed the attack like that?
Do you know what? That's been the biggest question for all the sane people in the fan base. Yeah, there are the ones that obviously you would have in your fan base that just loud mouths and they just want to talk. This has been the crazy part. Look, I'm not going to shy away from the fact that as some of our forwards, you would have seen, Grizz, in the couple of finals that we played, they've missed gilt-edged chances as well. Like, had Christian Pulisic put those chances away, had Mason Mount put those chances away against you guys in the Carabao Cup, at least we could have turned around and said, well, we've won a couple of trophies. And I think for both of those matches, whether it be Carabao Cup, FA Cup, we've missed gilt-edged chances. Look, there is that, no doubt, but at the same time, Grizz, we don't seem to have that attacking philosophy, that ideology embedded yet. And I know maybe it's a bit too early because Thomas Tuchel, let's be honest, last season was his proper first season. First season, he only played half the season. It was more, let's just do a job. Let's come in, let's try and patch things up, because when Frank Lampard left us, we were in absolute disarray. So he just came in to put a Band-Aid and see what goes on. Luckily enough, miraculously, we ended up the Champions League. Fantastic. Last season, look, Grizz, there was a moment where we were balling. I think we were first for a couple of weeks when we had Reece James, Chilwell buzzing. We beat Leicester, I think, 3-0. Then we followed up with Juventus 4-0. And we were moving into that Man United game with chest. We're like, yeah, we're going to pump you guys because we've seen you guys get beaten by Liverpool and Man City, and we're going to destroy you. And then the Chilwell situation happened, that injury against Juventus. Very soon later, Reece James, and it all started to fall apart. And then the Romelu Lukaku situation slapped all of us in the face. Literally, you don't understand, Grizz, how much that affected the fan base. There was great momentum, thinking, okay, this guy's... And Lukaku, just before that interview, was actually playing well, Grizz. And he did that interview, the morale went down, the morale in the team went down. We actually know this because there are people in the know that get direct messages from the players, and they were actually leaking messages that, look, the morale is very down with this brother in the team. So there is that factor. But you're right. How can all of these players, Christian Pulisic, Ziyech, Callum Hudson-Odoi, injuries obviously, and Pulisic as well, Havertz, Werner, how can they all not click? This is something even Thomas Tuchel at the end of last season has said. He needs to go away and think about it as well. He needs to probably work on it. This is what I like about Thomas Tuchel. He is not someone who's shying away from things that he sees needs improvement. He was the first one in the post-match conference, whether I think it was against Wolves or maybe Leicester last season. At the end of the season, he came out and said, it's something I need to work on. The attack is something I have to figure out what's going on. It is on me as well. Without Chilwell and Reece James, Grizz, it did affect us a lot. They provide the width for us. They provide the attacking outlet. They provide that extra man on both flanks. And at times when they cut in, when they stay inverted, they once again act as the extra man in the half spaces. So not having those players and then having Aspilicueta and Alonso is not the same sort of robust nature that we were looking for. Now, it is sad if you say, oh, music, it's Chelsea Football Club. You're only relying on Reece James and Chilwell. Come on, you should be better than that. We should be, Greece. We should be. But you can only do what you can do with what you have. We had Aspilicueta and Alonso. The fan base wanted us to move back into a back four because we knew, Tuchel, you don't have the players to play your back three and your wing back football to get the best out of the team that you have right now. Move to a back four, play Ziyech wide right. And if you remember, when we played Ziyech wide right against Spurs, he was bossing at that goal outside the box, that worldie that he scored, and a few times he was during that January, early February period before he got injured. He was one of our best attacking players. So, look, this season, Grizz, he's going to be highly criticised. He will. Thomas Tuchel is now getting
Well,
players.
he's gonna get criticised if it doesn't work. But this is what I was going to say to you. So, what inspires you? What gives you the confidence? If it does, it might not give you the confidence. So, tell us, what's going to change now because you've brought in Raheem Sterling? Is there anyone else you've brought? No.
We're looking for another attacker. We were talking about Nabi, but obviously he signed a contract extension. Now there's very big rumors around Rafael Leao from AC Milan with Ziyech going there. So.
No chance. Forget Rafael Leao.
I think no chance as well.
Yeah, no chance. You're not getting Rafael Leao. You know, Chelsea fans, forget that. He's their golden goose, man. They're relying on him for the next whatever. AC
I think
Milan.
Man City are rumored with him as well.
Yeah, exactly. Look, let's say Raheem Sterling, and let's say another attacker comes in. What's inspiring you?
Or even let's say we keep the ones that we have.
Yeah, exactly. They're not bad players. They're fantastic players.
They're not.
What's going to change if we're assuming that the defense will be fine? And look, you know, Koulibaly is a wonderful player, as I've said. I'm just thinking long term, him and Silva in the same defense, you're going to be relying on them for 75% of your campaign. And that's where I think issues may arise. If you have to rely on them for 75% of your campaign. If you don't, if you can rotate them somehow and keep them fresh and fit, amazing, brilliant. I just don't think you will. But let's just assume, for this debate's purposes, what's going to change in your attack or in his philosophy that inspires you going forward that it's going to have a different outcome this time? Because Lukaku out at the moment, Sterling in. That's the only, with 3 weeks to go, that's where we're at, right? Lukaku out, Sterling in, possibly Ziyech out, or probably Ziyech out, and another forward in. So let's just say that's all that happens, right? I think you need a number 9. I don't know who's been linked with you guys apart from Ronaldo.
There's no one, Chris. There's no one.
Yeah, apart from Ronaldo, I don't know who you guys have been linked with.
Yeah,
So
we're not getting. Yeah.
So let's just assume at the moment you're not getting. No one's there because we can't speak on something that's not happened. Is there going to be a formation change, a philosophy change? What's Tuchel going to do different this time, in your opinion, to make this work? Because he's got to make it work. I agree with you. Banter, jokes aside, last season was a lot of work for him. A lot of work for him. Off the pitch, on the pitch, injuries, Lukaku, ownership, in all of this. Sanctions. It's a lot for him. This season, he has to, because this season you've got a lot of other clubs around you that are going to be in and around you, and the amount of turmoil that this guy's taken over in Bowley, if he's got anything about him, he's going to want instant. When I say success, I mean definitely Champions League and possibly trophy. What's going to change?
You know, Tom Bowley is pretty much letting Thomas Tuchel run the show. So who is going to be accountable if everything goes pear-shaped? It's Thomas Tuchel. It's heavy on him this coming season. Some Chelsea fans don't want to hear this, but that's the facts, man. Like, if this doesn't go well for him with all the players he's trying to bring in, it's all on him. And I get it. The expectation, Grizz, for this season, going back to that initial question as well, is to make Champions League for this season. I know that doesn't bode well with some of our fans. We want more. But reality is that is what we can expect. Man City and Liverpool, we ain't catching them anytime soon. They're there in an advanced level, and Spurs is probably someone we need to compete against for the time being. Now, what's going to change? I think what he's hoping, Grizz, is with players like Raheem Sterling, what he's wanting from them, and this is the attacking mindset I think he's going to change. I don't really think, Grizz, we're going to go back. We're going to change from a back three. You don't bring all of these defenders to then go to a back four. You know, we're linked with Koulibaly, we're linked with Jules Koundé, we're linked with Preston Kimpembe. Levi Colwell is staying at Chelsea Football Club. We've got Chalobah. You're not going to a back four with all of these defenders. Do you know what I mean? You're probably going to stick to a back three. And also we're linked with wing backs as well, so which makes me think we're going to stay with a back three. From an attacking standpoint, players like Raheem Sterling, I think, Chris, what Thomas Tuchel really wants is someone who's fearless, someone who's going to take the man on. One of the issues we had last season is you look at some of our players, Chris, in terms of Pulisic, he used to be able to take the players on, but I think injuries has sort of reduced his confidence level. He feels a bit, stranged out at times to take a player on. Maybe that's even the pressure that he gets from the fan base that he doesn't want to make a mistake. Callum Hudson-Odoi, injury as well. He can't seem to take his man on. Ziyech never had the robust pace to take a man on 1v1. Mason Mount not being that player as well. So someone like Raheem Sterling, what he's expecting, and this is what I was saying to Matisse and Eunice the other day, in City, Grizz, it's very mechanical, and it's in a good way. They've got a philosophy that it's triangular passes, open up the opposition, and you've got the man free. With Chelsea, we're not in that mechanical phase as yet, and I think Thomas Tuchel might relish that for the time being. Thomas Tuchel might actually ask Sterling, have the freedom, take your man on 1v1, take them on, create chaos, shoot outside the box, get the opportunity inside the box to if you can find another man free. So this is what I'm thinking, Grizz, and the kind of players that we're getting linked with as well, Nabi, another player that is fearless, wants to take his man on, can shoot from range as well, can be lethal inside the box. Rafael Leao, even though I don't think we're going to get him, we'll see what happens with Ziyech moving that way, possibly. He's another one who wants to take his man on. So Thomas Tuchel, Grizz, is looking for players up front, especially the front three, not just to be fluid, who can play anywhere. Sterling can play on the left, but can drift into the middle, can possibly go on the right. Interchangeable players, but the players that are going to be able to take the opposition on. You have to isolate them 1v1, create chaos. That's what I'm thinking, Grizz, that this is what he's going for, hopefully next season.
I think it's evident that's what he's going for. I think, but I genuinely don't think that's been your issue, man. I think your issue is a mindset for your coach. I think it's the mindset.
It is conservative.
He's by nature a coach that looks at the opposition's strengths and sees how he can neutralize them, as opposed to saying we're going to show our attacking quality.
Well, Chris, he said his famous quote: "We want to be tough to be. We want to be hard to beat." Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Why not say we want to beat you? Like he always say, we want to be hard to beat.
So this is why I think it's going to need a change of philosophy. I also think it's not about creating chances with you guys in terms of taking on your players. The players that we've mentioned, Hudson-Odoi, Christian Pulisic, Timo Werner, one-on-one are very good at taking on players. I just think you're finishing. You needed and obviously we know Lukaku was supposed to be that guy, but again, he demanded a different way of playing to what Tuchel had envisaged for him. So this is where it's crucial who you get after Sterling. If it's just Sterling, I've had so many conversations with Chelsea people. I don't see much changing. No, I don't see much changing because Sterling is an elite chance creator. He's got elite movement. He's got so many strengths, but one of them isn't finishing. It just isn't. People can hit me with his Man City stats all day and night. I don't care. Man City are on a different level in terms of chance creation.
He's not a clinical finisher. He ain't a clinical finisher. Yeah.
So numbers wise, you know what I mean? The eye test will tell you, man, when you watch for England and for City, this guy is an elite chance creator. So yes, he will create chances. He's got movement. He's got very intelligent movement. For a 27-year-old, he's played at the highest level for so long. I don't know if he's the answer to you guys' goal scoring problems, because that's what you've got. You've got goal scoring problems. I don't think you've got chance creating problems, creating chances, but it'll be interesting. Any names in the midfield, Miz, that we should know about? Any changes in the midfield? So we know a forward may come. We know you're looking for another centre back. Anything in the midfield before we keep it moving? People in the studio, we're going to keep it moving. People are asking. We've been talking 30 minutes on Chelsea. Listen, call in and talk about what you want. I don't decide this agenda. I don't understand. And then look, where's that gone? Where's that? Oh my God, all these bots, man. But yeah, I forgot to put on slow mode, and they just come for you if you don't put on slow mode. People are saying, well, why we're not talking about X, Y, Z? We're talking about whatever the guests want to talk about, whatever the callers come in and talk about. That's what I talk about on this show. If you don't like it, log off, man. Go on to another channel, whatever. This is the call-in show. It's not Liverpool today. Sorry, Miss. I'm just letting people know.
In
Yes,
terms
so talk to us. Anything in the midfield? We should any changes, possibly, or same old?
Look, I think the only changes you might see is some of our loanees come back. So Conor Gallagher had a fantastic season at Crystal Palace. You could possibly start seeing Conor Gallagher being part of that midfield. Ethan Ampadu is one to look out for as well. He had a very good loan spell at Venezia, so you could possibly see Ethan Ampadu playing as a DM maybe.
Everton linked with him today. Everton.
Oh, really? I didn't see that.
Yeah, so that makes sense, right? Because the Lampard link, he will know.
Yeah,
He will know him very well.
Lampard loves the Chelsea boys, so I'm not surprised one bit. He was linked with Conor Gallagher as well. I think Armando Broja too. So look, midfield, not much going on besides the fact some of our players are probably going to get that opportunity. It'll be the same old Kovacic who's going to look to, and I'm really looking at Kovacic this season. He has been a standout midfielder, but I want output now. I want production from him. The chance creation that you're talking about with Raheem Sterling, Grizz, I'm looking at someone like Kovacic to find those movements, find those runs, and slip him into that box and see what he can do. There's talks about Jorginho and Kante. They're moving into their last season of their contract, so we'll see. There was some rumors about that Matheus Nunes from Sporting Lisbon. There's a whole heap of rumors. I think you guys are somewhat linked to him as well. I saw some reports there. He seems like a fine player. Jorge Mendes is an agent that Todd Bowley has recently met as well. So we'll see. Look, nothing huge to talk about in midfield besides the fact that some of our boys, Conor Gallagher.
But would you like something to talk about in midfield, or are you okay to go in with the same plus Gallagher?
Do you know what, Grizz? Down the track, yeah, we do need more a different sort of different flavor in midfield. In terms of Jorginho, I was one who wanted Basuma badly because I felt like his ball playing ability, along with his physicality, would have been a perfect DM for us. But right now, Grizz, I'm more concerned about it. Just can't be Raheem Sterling. It cannot just be Raheem Sterling. We need another one. That surely inside not. Forward, it's got to be someone. And if we keep on with our older brothers, well, Thomas Tuchel, you couldn't get the best out of him last season. Let's see what you can do this season. So, yeah, for me, I would like to see something in midfield, but I'm a realist that I think we need another defender because obviously we've only replaced Rudiger. We need to replace Christensen. And we'll see what happens with Azpilicueta. Thomas Tuchel almost confirmed that Aspie's leaving too. So we need to get another one in. So I'm not going to sit here and go, that's
a lot of experience, man. This is why I keep talking. That's a lot of experience and know-how. Aspie, another Premier League Hall of Famer.
Legend.
Azpilicueta is obviously his levels have sort of slightly decreased on the pitch. But around your team, around your squad, that guy
huge influence.
You're gonna miss him like company at City, and us like when Milner goes, we're gonna feel it. City felt it for that one season when company left. You guys will feel it. He's that crucial. I'm telling you.
Thomas Tuchel, Chris. He does not want Azpilicueta to leave yet because it feels I need characters. I need a commanding figure in the dressing room. You know very well, Grizz. Football isn't just about talent. It's about mentality and it's about controlling the group. And if you lose all these figureheads, it could get long. It can really get long. And you can't expect Kalidou Koulibaly to come in and just be a leader from day one. Do you know what I mean? Like to start, instructing directions to the young players. So,
but it's a step in the right direction at the back. I don't think Raheem Sterling is the answer. Check this one out. I haven't spoken to you about the Sterling deal. I was speaking to a few other Chelsea fans and and whatnot. I think it's a fantastic deal. People
Yeah,
are
yeah,
misunderstanding me. They're not, obviously, as I said, banter aside, when I'm talking serious, the actual deal for Raheem Sterling
it's brilliant.
is a fantastic deal.
Yeah.
What I question, very much like the Koulibaly thing, is if it's what Chelsea needed right now going forward. I'm here to be proved wrong or proved right. Either way, it doesn't make a difference. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
opinions. We give our opinions and we base it on what we think, what we see, what we know. Obviously, as the season pans out, we can come back to it and have a laugh and a giggle and say, yeah, you know what, Raheem Sterling elevated you guys to another level. Koulibaly stepped into Rudiger's shoes, and it was like, the transition was so smooth. I hope that doesn't happen, Miz, but I hope we can chat again. It's been a pleasure,
100%.
as always. Always pleasure speaking to you, my brother. It's been
No
fantastic.
problems.
Great day. Are you working today? No, it's Sunday today,
No,
right?
it's Sunday, so I've got to take my son for football training, and then I've got to watch along for the Chelsea match because we're playing preseason, our first preseason match coming up
Who are you
in
playing?
United States. I think this club called Club America or something like that. I don't
Mexico,
know. Yeah,
Club
maybe a
America.
Mexican team. Yeah, in Las Vegas. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, Mexico. So because they've got a lot of
See,
Mexican
my football
contingent.
knowledge it stretches worldwide, brother. Please tell me if I'm wrong there, people. I might be wrong. Then I mean, if I'm wrong, then
I think Club America might be a Mexican team. I don't think
is it?
they're an MLS team.
Nah,
So
nah. They,
yeah,
they might. I think they're in a Mexican team. But listen,
yeah.
best of luck in that. Best of luck in all your preseason friendlies, but
Thank you,
absolute
Nabi.
zero luck in the Premier League, my friend.
Much
Listen,
appreciated, Chris.
take
Take
care of
care.
yourself, man. It's always a pleasure. Nice one, bro.
See ya. Bye.
All right. Next two, I'm gonna let in because we've got so many people waiting. I'm gonna let two at a time. I'm gonna let in. Tom's on next. Tom, how you doing, my friend? Welcome to the channel.
I'm all good, mate. You good?
Good, good, good. And I'm gonna add Jezza as well. Jezza, welcome to the channel. Hope you're doing well, my friend.
What's up? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you nice and clear, my friend. How you guys doing? You good?
All good, all good.
Good, good. Tom, how you doing, my friend? I know you're a Liverpool fan, so I don't need to ask you what
Mhm.
team you support. How you feeling? How you doing? What do you want to speak about, bro?
Mainly just the midfield because it's a very sort of polarizing topic in between Liverpool fans at the minute, and obviously there are key aspects to it that I think do need to be explored. But I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. Obviously, I think everyone sort of understands that we would benefit from bringing in a midfielder if we were able to get Bellingham or a player of that ilk. I'm not going to exactly say no to it, but in terms of the season coming up, obviously the expectations are. I think we've got a real chance at winning this title because even though City have picked up Haaland, they've picked up Phillips, they're looking to pick up Cucurella. There's a lot of almost unknowns going into this season because of the World Cup. I think it was something that was brought up to me recently, and it's we only have, if you were to go for your strongest 11 right now, there's probably only about 3 of our players that are regular starters for their national team,
Mm.
and their national teams. Yeah, one of them is Uruguay with Darwin Núñez, and we don't know how Uruguay are going to do. They're very much an unknown commodity. Virgil van Dijk with the Netherlands. I don't really see them getting to the latter stages. I could see around the 16 exit for them if they get a tough draw. And Alisson with Brazil, they're the ones that could go far. But then the argument is he's a goalkeeper. There's going to be a bit less fatigue. Whereas when you look at Manchester City, they've got Ruben Diaz, Bernardo Silva, and João Cancelo all for Portugal, who they always do well in international tournaments. You've got the likes of Grealish, Foden, Stones, all the
Phillips
English
now.
goal Walker,
Phillips now.
Phillips, who play for England. We don't know how England are going to. They're very polarised. They either go round 16 or semi-finals. Who knows with that England team? So that 2 month break that we have, a lot of our players have, key players in there. Robertson is not going. Diaz isn't going. Salah isn't going. Keita isn't going. That 2 month break, I think it's near on 2 months. Start November, like mid-November
Yeah,
to
6 weeks, I think.
yeah, that's a massive thing because last year Mo Salah's fall off was probably due to fatigue. He played so much football, especially with getting 120 minutes near on every game at AFCON. So now it's the opposite. We now get to see a Salah who can go almost full throttle for the first 2.5, 3 months of the season, and then have effectively a pre-season before doing it all again for another 4 months. So it'll be a really interesting thing. But on the midfield, I just think, right central midfield's the weak spot, if you would. It's certainly the weakest point in the midfield that's very strong. But you've got Harvey Elliott, who I think I'm a massive Harvey Elliott fan. I think there's a lot to enjoy, there's a lot to appreciate there, and he's still only 19. You've got Carvalho, you've got Keita, all them can fill in that role. I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. We were so close last year, and that didn't include Harvey Elliott or Carvalho in the running.
No, it didn't. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
They can have an impact. I think people say, they're too young. Don't want to put too much pressure on them. And to an nth degree, I sort of understand that. You don't want to, but in the same breath, we don't know how they do under the pressure. Some players thrive under it. Trent Alexander-Arnold broke into the Liverpool team with a game against Manchester United at Old Trafford. It doesn't get much more high pressure than that.
I think you've raised a lot of interesting, good points. Before we try to dissect them and get through them and see what we think, Jezza, who do you support? Before we
I support Chelsea, Grizz. I support Chelsea. I know this shirt is quite
so you must have enjoyed it
because it's quite cold here in South Africa. But yeah, I support Chelsea.
Did you enjoy our chat about Chelsea with Miz? Did you agree or disagree with anything we said? Before we try to address what Tom's talked about Liverpool as well?
Yeah, just
it's always before you go. It's always good to get all clubs' perspectives on their rivals as well, as opposed to just Liverpool fans talking about Liverpool, Man United fans talking about Man United. It's always interesting to see what they think. But is there anything on the back of what me and Miz were speaking about Chelsea that you wanted to add or minus, as the case may be?
No, I'll just add two things. I'm not sure if you guys covered it. The age thing with Koulibaly, I'm a bit shocked about that because I'm not saying he's as good, but he's the same age as Van Dijk. If we were signing Van Dijk for the same money we signed Koulibaly for, there would be no complaints with there in terms of an age-wise. I know I think 2016 was when we were in for him the hardest. He said that in his recent interview with Chelsea. And around about that time, he was playing with Manolas. If you guys remember Manolas, that Greek centre-back, and he was actually playing on the right-hand side. So, I wasn't a fan of the Ake thing, so I'm glad that died. I know you have your reservations about Kimpembe, but in the beginning of the season last year when we were top of the league and we came to Anfield and we got that point away with 10 men, I thought we looked really good with Thiago, obviously, at the base of the three. And then he had Rudiger on one side and Chalobah on the other side. And Chalobah was quite young and naive, and he made a lot of mistakes. I always think back to that mistake he made against Liverpool at Stamford Bridge. I don't know I think Mane scored on the back of that. But my point being is when we had two athletic, I would say aggressive centre halves stepping into midfield and Thiago kind of covering them, I think we looked quite solid. I agree with the Sterling thing. Yes, he might not be enough, but at the same time, what else is out there? I know Rafael Leao is quite a talent. I've only seen him in the derbies and the big games when they play Roma and stuff. But for me, 100 million release clause, that's quite steep. I would say if we're looking to be like the Liverpool model now, I would say why not just wait? We know that the title's not going to come this year, so what's the point in? I'm one of those Chelsea fans where if we sign Ronaldo, I wouldn't be upset about it. Same as if we don't get him. I'm not one of these that are saying we must get him in immediately because of all the stuff that comes off the pitch with him. But that's all I wanted to say on the Chelsea front. With the Liverpool front, your guys' midfield, it was quite, I'd say, boring, should I say, when you had Fabinho, Gini, and Hendo in there. When you added Thiago, added some flavour. It was really, really nice to watch Liverpool. It's always nice to watch Liverpool. You always watch Liverpool with envious eyes, obviously, as a Chelsea fan currently. But again, who would necessarily be out there that's better than the options that you've got? I know you're talking about Jude Bellingham, but I don't see Dortmund won't sell him this summer unless you're going to go pay that 120 million. So you might as well get him next year. Keita was decent last season. Very, very decent. I mean, with all the hype that he came, number 8 jersey, and then you had
It's
to wait a year
interesting.
for him.
It's interesting. I want to stop you there. Sorry,
Mhm.
first of all.
No problem.
But it's interesting because I want to speak about Keita from an opposition, from a rival. So
Yeah.
Liverpool are he polarizes. Like me and Tom may disagree. I don't even know about Tom's opinion on Keita. I
quite
think
like it.
I'm gonna give my opinion, and Tom's gonna give his, and then you give me your opinion from like a neutral point. Well, fairly neutral. Yeah, you may
Fairly
like,
neutral.
but from a footballing point, definitely neutral. So I think Naby Keita hasn't been a resounding success. I think for the price that we paid for him, I think for the purpose of why we bought him, he has not been a success. All right, I will say that openly, admit that. I don't think he's been a flop as well. I think this is for me, just for me, this is his season where I tilt either way, whether it's success or flop, because he's been unlucky. But if we're going into, because next season will be the 5th season, we'll be going into undecided about him. The 4th season, we're going to say okay. The 4th season, we're going to say okay. One injury plagued season, one season, last season he was good. The previous season or two, been good, right? I want him to show his true colors. So far in pre-season, he's been good. Last season, he showed me glimpses of being good. I'm willing to give him another season as a Liverpool fan. I think he can really. I think he can prove a lot of doubters wrong. That's just me. But I don't. I would very happily accept if people say he's a failure. Tom, what's your opinion? And then we get a neutral opinion.
He's very Naby Keita's an interesting one, isn't he? Because it was the whole we got him a year before, but we let him stay out there so he could pay the premium on the release fee. So we had a year of hype building up, which I don't think helped him in reality because it created much higher expectations. I like him. I think he's a very good player. I think my only issue is his availability. I'm a massive fan of players that are available week in, week out. Naby Keita, for me, he's got all the ability. You can see it when he plays, and his pressing game, his control, his passing, he can dictate tempo. For me, in an ideal world, him and Thiago rotating that left central midfield role perfectly. You can add Carvalho into that mix now with how he's done in pre-season as well. I do think Naby Keita is a good player, but my big issue is his availability. I mean, last year was the first time we got 40 games out of him in a season. I think the year before that we got 16. So like it's very sort of polarizing with him. Like you don't know what you're gonna get, and that's where I can't rely on him, and that's the one part of him which I don't like, because when we're in these title races with Manchester City, who set new levels every year, you've now got to get 95 points, and sometimes that's not even enough. You need players that you can rely on, and as good as Naby Keita is, I can't sit there and go, well, I can have 2 games of him, and then I've got to miss him for 3 games while he's got a little knock, and then we bring him back in, he needs a game coming up to speed. It's that inconsistency coming back from his constant little injuries that is probably the issue.
Holding him back. Yeah, you're right. What do you think, Jezza, as a neutral, as when you've seen him? Obviously, you won't know what me and Tom. You may not know what me and Tom are referring to in terms of, the niggling injuries come back. In fact, you could compare him to Kovacic for you guys.
Yeah.
Obviously, Kovacic has done it at a more consistent level, at a higher level as well, I'd say. For Real Madrid, for you guys, right? But you know how Kovacic, when he plays, he's so good, and then he'll pick up an injury and he's out for 3-4 games or 2-3 games. I think that's an example. But what do you think about Naby Keita?
There's definitely some similarities with Kovacic. For me, Naby Keita's best came. There was a period. It was an early part of the season. You guys are Liverpool fans, so you'll be able to tell me which one. But there were times in games where you would go to a 4-4-2, and he would play slightly off the left, and Mane would come inside next to Firmino. That for me was when I saw him at his best, because he was scoring goals, he was assisting goals, and it almost became routine where he would come inside with the ball. Robertson would go around him. He would slide it to Robertson. Robertson would put it across the goal, and somebody would tap it in, either Firmino or Salah. I saw an interesting situation because I see the rumors are piping up now. Tottenham are after James Maddison. And then I checked. Apparently, he's only got 2 years left on his deal. Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought that might be an interesting player for Liverpool to explore. Not at the price tag that he would come, especially when you're eyeing Jude Bellingham, for next season. But James Maddison would be an interesting. I mean, if James Maddison was playing where Henderson plays now, I just think Henderson gives you so much of like the leadership on the pitch that you guys clearly miss when he's not there. But at the same time, you can almost see that. I don't know if you guys noticed it, but I kind of always see when Harvey was in the team early last season before he got injured, the chemistry between Harvey, Salah, and Trent was really good. That little triangle down the right.
Yeah, had a different dynamic sort of thing. Harvey, he came through as a winger through the youth setup, so he's naturally.
Exactly.
I like to think that players, when they develop into a new position, they still like retain tendencies from what they used to do. So Harvey Elliott last year would drift out wide when we were on quick transitions, and that would drag players out of position. Your opposition central midfielders would follow him out if they were really trying to man mark him or just cut off a passing lane, and that would bring Trent into the middle, and then you get a much more effective Trent because he's able to impact the game a lot closer and a lot more direct.
He is a midfielder anyway, so.
Trent, I think the Maddison shout for Liverpool. I don't think we'd be interested in that profile right now. No, because of the way we play and the formation.
The glitz and the glam that he comes with.
But also, I think we've got profile of players that have got his skill set. And yes, Curtis Jones hasn't fulfilled or shown levels of Maddison. There's no one that can sit here and say Curtis Jones has shown and proved anything on what Maddison has done, right? But if you look at Curtis Jones, I think he's 21. People, I don't know. Tom, do you know if he's 21?
Yeah, he's 21.
He's 21 years old. He's been moved around in a number of positions. All his under 21 career for the youth teams, he was played as a pretty much a Maddison role, if not even further. 10 floating role. He was the king of the team. He was the best player in his team. He was allowed to do what he wants, where he wants, go and influence the game. He comes into the team at around 19 for Liverpool, and he's slowly in the last 2 years been molded into something completely alien to him. And people forget that aspect.
Like a Wijnaldum type role.
He's been molded, or he's been trying to be molded. We don't know what the plans are going into this season for him, right? So Maddison, for me, I wouldn't go near Maddison because I believe Curtis Jones can do that. Harvey Elliott is a wonderful talent. I don't know, again, from an outsider, what you think of Harvey Elliott. Liverpool fans, again, not polarizes, but some people don't believe in the hype about Harvey Elliott. But the majority, but that's in every fan base. You have that. But for me, Harvey Elliott, and more importantly, Jurgen Klopp and Pep Linders think he's an absolute star in the making. And people forget. Do you remember the first 4 games of last season, Tom, where everyone was same thing, same scenario, same noises coming from certain sections of the fan base? Harvey Elliott, boom, thrown into the first 4 games. And my God, it was like, whoa, okay, this is what they were coaching and training him to be, because we thought he's going to be like a Salah understudy backup. And he was molded into this number 8 and drifting inside, and his first touch would beat a man. And those games, I was at 3 of the 4 games that he started, guys.
The Burnley one was horrific. Yeah.
So check this one out. That was the game, Jezza, when I realized
this guy can handle it. Game. Yeah, the Burnley game for me is when I was like, whoa.
I thought he's a mascot. coming out. when they're coming up, because you got to remember Burnley were average height is 6'4",
It's ridiculous.
right? All of them. And I was thinking, okay, the mascot's got to turn around now and get off. Like, we need a player now. Why is the mascot still involved? Still involved. And then I realized this is Harvey Elliott, and you know what? He was not phased. The kid was so brave, and and then he got that horrific. People think an injury is just he got injured. All right, he recovered, and he didn't get. Guys, his fucking ankle was in pointing in two different ways in directions. Imagine the trauma the kid went through. Forget the pain and the healing process and all that. But
the physical one, think of the mental.
My guy came back, and people were like, why isn't he back in the team? Jurgen Klopp and Pep Linders done the exact right thing and didn't risk him in terms of mentally or physically for that run-in. And it was a mad shame and disappointment because we could have done with him in 1 or 2 games. Do you know what I mean? It could have been the difference.
He got the Inter Milan game at the San Siro, didn't he? He got the Inter Milan game at the San Siro, and he was okay. He just looked like
you could tell
big games to throw him back into.
You could tell he wasn't that
the sharpness.
There was a little bit of something missing. He played against Southampton. Do you remember? I thought he'd done well in the Southampton game as well.
He was great against Southampton.
But long-winded way of saying Maddison, I don't think will be needed. But it's interesting your take on Nabi Keita, Jezzo, because Nabi Keita is one of those that is. Would you think we would give him another season, or would you sell him?
I think you give him another season, see how he does this season. The thing with football fans is they expect everybody. They expect if Thiago comes out the team, they expect Keita to come in and produce the same quality. When that's not going to happen ever. That's a big problem. We all do it as football fans. When somebody comes out the team, you want the exact replacement. When we lost Reece James, we wanted the exact same production on both sides. So we lost two, like for like,
or better, like they grow on trees.
Yeah. Exactly. But for me, I think you keep him another season. See how he does. I mean, I was shocked that you said you got 40 games out of him because I know he's been struggling with injuries. 40 games is quite a bit. So if you can get the same amount of him this season, then you're good.
That's our main issue with the midfield because the quality, we've got a lot of players that have quality about them, but it's with Thiago, it was just last year he got injured at the crucial times. We didn't have him for from October to mid-November, and that was where we dropped the majority of our points. Against City, against Brighton, against Brentford, against West Ham. It was that run of games. And when he came back in, you instantly saw the change. You just looked so much better. So the thing is with the midfield, there are concerns in there. And that's why that's another thing I'm looking forward to with this World Cup. Obviously, Thiago will be going with Spain, but he doesn't seem to be a regular starter with the national team at the minute.
I think with your point, the point that you raised earlier on, Tom, we were going to do a show on it tomorrow. Guys, check out Red Fellas tomorrow. I think we're going to do it at 10 p.m. tomorrow. We're going to have an in-depth look at that. So exactly what Tom spoke about, because that's a very, very interesting, and it's a relevant point, Tom. The reason why it's relevant is because if me and you have just thought about this in the last week or two or whatever, definitely know that the coaches have thought about this.
Kaplan's had this on his mind for 6 months.
So when they speak about numbers and squads and players for each position, they have everything down to a T. What I mean by that is not perfection, but trying to be perfectly planned. Obviously, after that, shit happens, man. No one can control an injury or a bad challenge or something, but you have to be pretty much prepared for most eventualities. I'd like to think they thought about this and they've realized, like you've said, it's a season where there's 2 pre-seasons in effect. So we've got this mini one, which is only 4 weeks. They've had 2 weeks break and then 4 or 5 weeks and we're back again. We play up to November at a mad, alarming rate, but then we have 6 weeks of rest, recuperation, and they know who's in and who's not. Even Bobby Firmino, I don't think is guaranteed a start, or I think he's 5th choice for Brazil these days. So we've not got many players going to be participating at high intensity like our main rivals, Manchester City. I don't know what the Chelsea situation is with your World Cup players. You've probably got a fair few, right?
Yeah, you gotta forgive me. I don't really watch international football. I mean, when the World Cup gets here, I'll watch it.
You'll watch it, yeah.
We have a lot of obviously all our young English boys will go. Your Mounts,
The
Reece.
majority of your
Sure.
defence is going because you'll have Edouard Mendy and Koulibaly for Senegal.
There we go. Yeah.
Thiago Silva's still
Thiago
kicking it
will
about
go.
for Brazil somehow at his age.
Wow.
Yeah, he'll definitely go. He'll
Ben
definitely go. 'Cause he was
Chilwell
flying
and
up
Reece
and
James are
down.
like so. A lot of your players will be going. It's. I think Germany as well. You've got a strong German contingent with Havertz and Werner. They all get a lot of game time. So we are as a Big Six team. If you look at them all, we benefit from it a hell of a lot. I mean, the big one is Mo Salah, but even Trent. I don't even know if Gareth Southgate's going to pick Trent. If Gareth Southgate doesn't pick Trent, don't pick him. I'll happily have another 6 weeks where Trent just gets to rest and recuperate. Give him all that recovery time. Like, it's such a big factor.
It's a massive factor, and it comes under the intangibles where we can't really predict. They come under that category of. I know it's easy to say, let's see how it goes, but what else can we do in that situation? It's true, we don't know what's going to happen in this kind of season. It's so unprecedented. Like, we can all stock up in case. We can all stock up in every department and say, let's stock up in case he gets injured. And then he gets injured, let's stock up in that situation if he gets injured. Like, I don't know where you stop. When you're trying to do that, when you're trying to build a football club or a squad, where do you stop using those with that thought process? Where do you stop? For example, the season that Tom, check this out. The season where we ended up with our 7th and 8th choice centre backs. How would we have survived if we had brought in obviously Konate wasn't allowed to come in, very much like the Jude Bellingham. Leipzig just said no. So we know we wanted Konate, but let's just say we did bring in another centre back of decent quality, better than Kabak and Phillips, obviously. Who's to say, like,
how would we got injured? Everyone was dropping like flies that season. Who's to say?
What do you do? So what do you do?
It
Where
was
do you
crazy.
stop?
Our first 3 choice centre-backs got injured. Then our 2 midfielders that we moved to centre-back got injured. And then our 2 January signings to cover for the 2 midfielders who were covering for the 3 centre-backs got injured. So we had to use I think they ended up being 8th and 9th choice.
Mental. I mean, how do you cover for that?
You can't.
How do you explain that even?
It's impossible because even if like you're trying to prepare for that, let's say in our situation, we've got a couple of injury-prone midfielders, so we stock up with loads of depth. But then Thiago Alcantara has a fantastic season where he doesn't get injured. Then all of a sudden, that midfielder who was thinking, well, I'm going to get 20, 30 games here, rotating in and out.
But check this out. Saying that, I was critical of that summer, that we should have got a centre-back in. We 100% should have got a centre-back in. But I would have had egg on my face, guys. We all have had egg on our face because it would have made no difference. It would have made no difference. Like, let's just say we brought in a centre back of the quality of, I don't know, man. Who's a mid?
Just say you kept Lovren. We don't.
Just say we kept Lovren.
Just say you kept
Lovren. What? I don't think how that would have changed the fact that
you would have just ended up with Lovren and Phillips at the back. It wouldn't have been much different.
Do you know what I mean?
It's not like having Lovren would have prevented Van Dijk getting injured or Gomez getting injured.
So it's difficult. It's difficult. I know we all like to sit in the comfort of our homes and cover every single base on our notebook and phones and say, look, make squad depth charts and have 4 players in each position. Real life doesn't work like that, guys, man. We are, I'm sure you have family who own businesses and operate and whatever. You ask them, this is not real life. Never mind football. In real life, it doesn't work like this. You have to work.
You've only got 25 players that you can register. You can't have three players depth at each position unless.
And we have 25 players right now. But obviously, and he said it. He goes, until someone leaves, it's not a matter of quality or he literally said, until someone leaves, I've got no space in my squad. And this 25 that you've mentioned, I'm not even mentioning some of the few young gems we've seen, not even mentioned, like in and around the squad. But guys, there's so many people wanting to jump on. It's been a pleasure speaking to you both. Jezza, Hope, Chelsea, Yeah, I can't wish you luck, man. I'll be a hypocrite.
No problem, Chris. No problem, Chris.
But you've been a pleasure speaking. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. Hopefully, chat to you again, man.
Appreciate you too, Chris. Keep it going.
Nice one. Tom, of
Nice
course,
one,
always a
brother.
pleasure speaking to you, my friend. Nice one. Thanks for
Thank
coming
you,
in and
mate.
popping in. Look after yourself, guys. Take care. All the best. I'm gonna bring in Kaz has been waiting, and I'm gonna bring in Daps has been waiting. I'm gonna bring in Essan's been waiting. Where they gone? There you are.
Oh
How you
shit.
doing, guys? How are you?
How's it going?
Good. I'm good.
Daps, Man City, Man United, Kaz, Essan.
Barca.
Hey,
My word.
This is
Barca,
techie.
Barca. Listen,
No
Essan,
good.
first time on the channel. So first and foremost, how are you? Where are you calling from, my friend?
Good. From US. So
Amazing.
I'm
What
Iranian.
time is it? What time is it there at the moment?
it's 5:30 p.m.
Okay,
Central Time,
okay.
so yeah. So it's
Talk to
good
me, my
time.
brother. What would you like to speak about? The floor is yours.
Yeah, I know. I mean, just the transfer window and like how a lot of English fans are Chelsea fans are traumatized from Barca and entering the deals and stuff. But at the same time, the way we are registering these players and signing these players, even though we have all these debt, the 1.5 billion that we're talking about. But one thing that all the deals with Barca has happened is that the installment plans that we were signing them. So basically, like Rafinha's deal, basically like Chelsea were interested. They were ready to pay 60 million euros right away for the players. But obviously, all these players, they like to join Barca. And what Barca and especially the sporting director, Matthew Almani, has done is the installment plans that we've set in place. So instead of paying the majority of the fee right away, we
The
are
imaginary
breaking them
money, yeah.
into- Wait, sorry.
The monopoly money that you got.
Let him finish. Let him finish, guys, please. Yeah.
We pay them in 4 or 5 years. It's very similar to Ferran Torres. Like we paid 55 million 6 months ago, where we thought we don't have the money at all. But the way this deal was broken down is that we pay them in 5 different installments. We paid literally the first payment was done 1 month ago for 13 million, which is kind of nothing. So if we wanted back in January to sign a player for 10 million, it would have been impossible. But the Ferran Torres, even though it was 55 million, but the way it was broken down, it's easier. And another thing is that one thing that people have to remember, even though we're spending a lot of money this season, this is a transfer window for 4 or 5 seasons. This is getting ready. We're bringing a lot of experienced players like Lewandowski, and then trying to bring Aspilicueta and Alonso for the left as a backup. This is to get them into the rhythm of the team. Since next season, we got the likes of Busquets, Piqué, probably Alba and Ter Stegen leaving the club. So you do need some experienced players to obviously, learn the rhythm of the Barca and the Barca philosophy, and at the same time help the young kids. So even though we do spend a lot of money, but this is a one transfer window for 4 or 5 seasons. And I mean, we got the likes of Man United and stuff here, Man United fan and a Man City fan. So I know you guys have been kind of.
It's interesting because I didn't plan use 3 on at the same time.
You didn't. I can tell you didn't.
I didn't.
Lineup.
and the way it's panned out is interesting. So we can have a little chat about it. Now, Essan, with all due respect to you, me, Kaz, and Daps, none of us will know the exact situations of our club's finances and how they've reached the levels they've reached. We can only go by newspapers, journalists, people that have experience in the finance sector. I don't want to turn this chat into anything like that.
Now, let's not make it toxic.
So in terms of how you got the money and where you got the money and why you operate like this, no, I let you speak, so let me finish now.
Yeah.
I know you try to justify it in the best way you can as a Barcelona fan, but I'm not having it. And I don't want to have it because we don't know the facts. And you, I'm looking at all of us, all of your clubs, all of my clubs. We don't know the facts. So before we start saying, but you guys are illegal, fraud, this, that, bollocks. Let's try to speak about the actual transfers in terms of the players qualities that they bring to the team,
Yeah.
and how, for example, if Frankie de Jong is at your club, is he more suited, or should you let him go, for example, if he wants to go to a United, and vice versa. So let's try to keep this conversation
Can I
away
be
from
positive?
the what's the word? The admin and the
Toxic.
finance.
Yeah. Can I be positive firstly? Because what you just said there, I had this thought earlier, right? I went to Barcelona, I think 8 years ago, for the first time, and I fell in love with the city. I fell in love with the Catalan vibe, the way they love football so much. They're proud to be Catalan, not Spanish. Probably very similar to the way Liverpool are about Liverpool and not England, right? And it was kind of nice the first time that I was abroad and I'm seeing City shirts in Barcelona, and I'm like, I can't find. Back then, I couldn't find City shirts down here, Grizz, right? And I'm finding them in Barcelona. So I love the city, everything about it, and of course, as you do when you're English and you go to Barcelona, you go around the new camp and you're impressed. Yeah. You're impressed with everything about it. And I fell in love with all of it. And this was before really the Spanish boys had got into City and really started to change City to be something very similar to that. So when a year, maybe 2 years ago, Barcelona hit their financial difficulties, I was openly, we'd only just started doing YouTube, but I was openly saying, it's sad for football because, do you know what? This is Barcelona, right? They are, there's something very romantic about Barcelona, right? And I thought it was sad. Obviously, we're not going to get into all of anything else, and I totally respect that. I think it's great, and I'd love to do a show with a Barcelona fan. So
exactly.
I'd love to do that another time, but let's do that another time. Yeah. But earlier on, I think I said on the last stream or maybe the one before to Cass, if I take away my frustrations with Barcelona and I look at the players they're signing, they're building a team that could all of a sudden be a threat in Europe again.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
So
let's break it down. So who have they brought in? Who have they brought in for sure, Hassan? Remind us who they've actually signed.
Yeah. So we've signed Frank Kessie from AC Milan for free, Christensen from Chelsea for free. Then we bought Lewandowski for 50 million, 45 plus 5 just last night, and then Rafinha for 58 plus 8 just this week as well. So, and also we got another very young kid similar to Pedri that we hope it can turn into Pedri. He's Pablo Torres. So he's from.
And then you've also got Pedri, Gavi, Ferran Torres, Depay. Kaz can probably name a load more. So
Ansu Fati, Dembele.
And then
it's actually a serious team when you think about it.
And when you look at what he said about Azpilicueta, Alonso, Elder players.
So check this one out. Check this one out. I don't think it's a serious team. I don't think it will be a serious team. So all those names to me have only improved their position in the La Liga. For me, all of those names will get them closer to Madrid. They won't have an impact on the Champions League, in my opinion. Who now do you have to get rid of, Hassan? Because this is how it affects Man United, and we'll get Kaz involved here. Who do you have to get rid of? And I'll say books, but I don't want to go into it.
Right.
But to balance those books. So who do you have to get rid of, or is likely to leave?
So I mean, Depay, even before all these transfers start to happen, he was out of Xavi's plan. So Depay has to leave. Then we got Pjanic, Ricky Puig, then in the midfield that have to leave. Then you got the likes of Umtiti, Oscar Mingueza, which is another young kid at Barca that has to leave. We got the Neto, he's the second goalkeeper that has to leave. So there's a lot of players that have to leave the club. And, just one thing that I should add, like in general, Barca's, except this transfer window, I hate to see Barca spend a lot of money. Like we've never had that philosophy to spend a lot of money on transfers. And I never want to become... Yeah, and I never want to become like the Real Madrid where, the 2009, you broke the bank and just sign all these players. And a lot of the problems come from the last president, where he signed the likes of Griezmann, Philippe Coutinho, Dembele, all these things that just were signed as a popular sort of signings rather than something that would fit Barca's philosophy. But in terms of Barca not being able to compete with Real Madrid. I think.
No. I didn't say that. No. I didn't say that. I said you'll get closer to Madrid. In my opinion, of course, if you think you're gonna beat Madrid to the title, because realistically, regardless of how good Madrid, Atletico Madrid have been in recent years, or up and down, or Real Sociedad, or the resurgence of other teams, realistically, we know it's going to be Madrid or Barcelona.
Yeah.
Your target is Madrid. Let's not beat around the bush. Your target is Madrid. With those signings, are you confident? Are you more confident with your new coach and the philosophy that he's going to bring? Because I think that's where your inspiration should come from.
Exactly.
The names don't inspire me, but I'm not a Barcelona fan, so you can speak on compared to what you've already got. Aubameyang didn't inspire me. I don't know if it inspired you.
Don't inspire me.
Depay didn't inspire me in my, but now Lewandowski, yes, he's one of the most elite finishers in world football. That inspires me for a season, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, he's got another season. The players that you're trying to get rid of, I don't think anyone will pay money for him, TT, at the moment. That's how bad it is. You've been trying to get rid of him for ages. All these players. Talk to us, because this is what I want Kaz's opinion. Talk to us. Give us your opinion on the Frankie De Jong situation. Just Frankie De Jong situation, and then I want Kaz's answer, thinking as well behind it.
So you
because that affects all three of you guys, and I'll tell you how I think it does.
It does.
You see, with Frankie De Jong is that he's a starter no matter what. Like, even though we have all these players, the Gavis, the Nicos, that even Liverpool wanted the Gavi, but he's always starter alongside Pedri and Busquets. But the problem with Frankie De Jong is just that salary that has been increasing since he was signed under the previous president. You know, it progresses from 9 million to around 19 million this season, and it's going to get higher next season as well. So it's that salary where we were supposed to pay 40 million. If it stayed at the same level, we would pay 40 million for the next 4 years, but now we're paying 80 million in the next 4 years. So the salary is the massive problem for Barca, and that is where a lot of this financial fair play comes into play, where we can't register these players in La Liga. All of these things are based on the salaries, nothing to do with the transfer fees and everything. So that's where the problem is. I think at the end of the day, he is going to leave Barca, but as a Barca fan, I definitely don't want him to leave. But if he stays, he has to reduce the salary. We don't care, because with the new management, there is a cap salary of 9 million. So the nice thing about all these players that we've signed is that
they're in with that
5-6 million only.
Exactly, within that limit.
Four years ago,
that's interesting. I didn't know that, so that's good to know that.
Right. So like 4 years ago, the average salary was 12-14 million. So like you see, Dembele, his previous salary was 11 million, and the new contract we gave him 6 million. So it's like everything. So the highest paid player would be Lewandowski, except the holy cows of Piqué, Busquets.
Exactly.
Do you know what Lewandowski's on? Yeah. Do you know what Lewandowski's on?
9 million. So right now he's around 20 at Bayern.
So the cap isn't for everyone.
9 million. That's what he said.
Oh, the cap's 9 million. Oh, sorry, my bad.
So the cap for every new signing is 9 million, but then you have still the likes of Busquets, Piqué that are still earning around 20 million, but they have a lot of deferred salaries.
So from what we know, Dembele was asked to reduce his salary and accepted it.
Yep.
Because Dembele didn't want to leave. Frankie De Jong and Kaz, Frankie De Jong, from what we know, wants to leave, but doesn't want to leave until he's owed these wages. Barcelona are saying if you want to stay, you will have to conform to what Hassan is telling us, to the salary cap. Frankie De Jong won't accept those wages, Hassan. Am I right in speculating with that?
Right now, I think if the club, one thing Laporta did bad was the way he treated Frankie De Jong, and he always does that every now and then. But if he had treated him nicely, I think he would have reduced the wages, because he was the first player to accept the deferred salary, unlike Piqué, Busquets.
But now he wants that back.
The deferred salary is not that we're not going to pay him. One thing that I've seen in English media is that the deferred salary is the problem. I don't think that's a problem, because you have an agreement with Barca that instead of paying you right now, we're going to pay you that 10 million in 2-3 years.
But,
retirement fund.
Yeah, exactly. But he wants it. But he wants it now. Daps, your number one target. It seems. Sorry, Kaz. I said Daps. Kaz. It seems like your number one target forever and ever is Frankie De Jong, right? And it must be so frustrating as a Man United fan, the situation you find yourself in. As a fan now, where are you standing with your club's pursuit of Frankie De Jong? Spell it
Play
out.
nice, Cass. Play nice.
I am happy more than you believe.
More than you believe.
More than you believe. You know what? Yeah, I'm sorry. I have to say a little something. Yeah, I have to say this one little thing, but I'll respect it and I'll talk about it in a respectful way because it's not your fault at the end of the day. Your club should not be able to make transfers with all this big, massive budget that you supposedly have for these levers and all this kind of stuff until you owe you owe people money, bro. 50 million for PK in euros, 17 million. You should be paying that first of what they owe before you do a transfer, in my opinion.
Let him finish.
I'm just saying, it's just unless there's an agreement within it, I don't think you should be able to get transfers. And I don't know about the registering players stuff. I heard is a problem. But other than that, let's talk about the Man United perspective. I just wanted to say that because I'm not joking. About 5 minutes ago, I wanted to shout and rip into Barcelona and that they should just fold. Like, for all I care, criminals of this whole transfer window. And in general, anyways, that mafia going on. I don't know what's going on, but there's a mafia there. Not facts, by the way. Just gonna say, but I want this. I want him. I can't lie. I've probably never said this on a stream like this, but I want him so badly, more than you believe. Trust me, I really want him because I don't want. You know what it is? It's
why?
It's where you go.
Is it
it's
because
where
of the
you
chase now? Is it one of those cases? You know when you're chasing a bird, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Grizz, say it loud and proud because I'm gonna agree to it, bro.
No. I'm not saying I'm a family man. You know what I mean? I'm past those days. I'm like,
do you want me to say it?
My family watches this. You know what I mean? I love them all. Everything's good. Listen, but I started you so you know where I'm going with that. Go on.
Yeah. It's like all right. Let me put into perspective into like a Muslim thing, innit? Yeah. You do a halal relationship, obviously, mashallah and everything. You talk to a woman, whether it's a year or two, you don't do nothing. It's halal, bro. You keep it like that. You want that woman more and more. The fire's there. It's burning. This is like the De Jong thing a little bit, yeah. It's turning into a non-halal relationship right now. Okay, I want this guy, bro, because you know what it is? When you set that target of a player like that, it's like, okay, just move on to the next player. And who's our next target? Supposedly Neves, Tielemans. Come on, man. I don't want nobody else.
What's wrong with them?
They're not De Jong. And the way Ten Hag has this system thing that he's had before in the past, I want
he needs De Jong.
He needs him, and I heard something. No, not heard. I read something about even if it takes longer than expected,
he will wait.
Ten Hag he will wait because he knows he will be a Man United player, and it's just that wage stuff. I'm sure we'll come to an agreement at some point when it gets critical in a stage of needing money, needing to register players by a certain time, etc., etc. I'm not too sure if is there a date for that, by the way, Hassan?
For what?
For registering players for the Liga, yeah.
Well, I think I want to say right before the games start. So it's like, basically the Griezmann.
Few weeks.
I don't know exact date. So
yeah, but we got time.
The same thing last year.
So 2 weeks. You're saying 2 weeks? Okay, so 2 weeks, and you're not allowed to use the lever money to register the players apparently. So you need to actually cut down, as you said, the wages to accommodate other people's contracts, right?
Yep.
So I'm gonna be sure that Frankie De Jong won't be the only man leaving your club as well. Maybe if Depay goes or something. I don't know. But if that's the case, then that makes me more confident thinking of it like that. But I want this guy more than you believe. I'm not joking. If we're talking about top clubs having top centre mids, Man City's got 3 of them, 4 of them, 5 of them. You could Liverpool got, I would say Henderson is a top centre mid. Thiago, Fabinho, the rest no. But you got top centre mids, bro. Chelsea, Kante, they got basically what I'm trying to say. Every of these top clubs in their tops got top centre mid, bar Arsenal. So unless Thomas Partey was to come to life, do you know what I mean? I want one of them. We just got Eriksen, I think, is the top one. Now get me another one, please, because we can't rely on one man. So please get me something, and I want this guy because it's just we don't have that sort of player. You know what it was? I had a bit of nostalgia with it all. Yeah, we haven't had a player like De Jong in forever. Yeah, and then I'm thinking back. We haven't had someone like that since Paul Scholes. Yeah, someone that can dictate. And then I see Zidane Iqbal, playing in preseason. I'm thinking we ain't had a centre mid like that, and I want that. and he's not ready. That's the thing. You can't put a youngster in the squad. I needed De Jong to do this job. Someone's got experience and everything else. I want him bad.
I want to talk about the triangle, and this is what I was talking about. This is where it involves depths as well. So I'm like doing the triangle with you three now, right? Because Hassan, if Frankie De Jong is let go, and we know it's just a political game how they're doing it, and we know that they want him gone, and we know Man United are waiting. I want to ask you one question before I want Daps's thinking on it. Do you need to? Are you convinced that he will be replaced or with someone called Bernardo Silva, or do you think you're not going to replace him and try to replace him within the squad? First, your opinion, and then I'll ask Daps what's the situation.
I think we won't necessarily need to bring Bernardo Silva, but even if we brought him in terms of the salary wise and the money wise, it makes sense to bring him in. Just because it's way cheaper than Frankie De Jong, even though we're paying 100 million.
But stylistically, also, he's a dream, an absolute dream for your manager.
For Xavi,
because your manager, if
your manager loves him as well.
If your manager
positional play.
If your manager could pick 2-3 players in world football, Bernardo Silva will be one of them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Do you think there's enough talk behind that? You can envisage that if Man United give you 70 million, Kaz, something like that?
Yeah.
So it's 75 million fixed fee in euros. So that's like if we're talking pounds, 64 million plus the extra 10, 7,
and
whatever the hell that is in euros. 70 million. Let's say 70 million.
And that's the exact fee Man City would roughly.
No, it's not.
Roughly.
Okay, 100 million pounds for Bernardo.
10,
do you know there is one very interesting number in this that I just looked up? Guess what wage Bernardo Silva is on per year at the moment? What's your cap?
Grand?
What is your cap? What is your cap per year?
9 million. 9 million.
Right, he's on 9.5, so it's very, very similar.
He's going to reduce it if he comes to Barca.
Of course, 100% he'd reduce it to come to Barca.
Bernardo Silva's not the type of player, or he's a rat to us, but he's an amazing player. But he would want to go for Xavi.
Oh yeah, no.
And the lifestyle.
Well, listen.
Yeah, the sun, Barcelona, the coast.
Let me be very clear as a City fan, right? Today, on City released their behind the scenes of the start of the transfer window, and it's nice to see Bernardo Silva. The minute he sees Rodri's cutting him, Grealish. The minute he enters the room, Bernardo Silva is in. Before he speaks to anyone else, Bernardo.
Yeah, I saw that.
They all love him. I saw Walker's putting him in a bin and wheeling him round on the training pitch. They all love Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva loves Manchester, right? Doesn't like the weather, but he loves Manchester. However, for me, if I look at it from an outsider looking in, it seems very clear. Him and his wife or girlfriend do not have children yet, right? They miss home. They want to go home. It's that simple. As a grown man, I can respect it. Yeah,
absolutely.
100%. That's what it is. It's not quite home, but you know what? Listen, to go from Barcelona to Portugal is not long at all. It's not long. He loves Portugal. Last season he wanted to go. It's not to do with City. He stayed, and guess what? He put a fucking shift in, right? And if he stays this summer, he will put a shift in.
No doubt.
He is the key professional. The one thing I always speak on is the season we did the domestic treble at the parade. He was, the minute he got interviewed, all he was talking about was how he was disappointed we didn't go further in the Champions League. Wasn't celebrating. And when this season in the parade, you had your two groups of players. You had your Grealishes, your Fodens, that were all drinking, Walkers, and then you had your Rodris, your Bernardo Silvas, your Laportes that are sat there. They had a Heineken in their hands, but they're sat there chilled out. They are ultimate professionals. But he wants to go. I honestly believe that this is the one different signing to everything else we are seeing with Manchester City. From Ferran Torres went in the office, said, I want to go. You can go. Garcia, free transfer, want to go. You can go. I'd even go as far as say if Laporte went in, might be a little conversation, but they'll be like, if you want to go, you can go. Same with when Van Dijk said he wanted to play under Alisson. Pep was like, let him go and play under Alisson. Sterling. If Sterling stayed, he'd probably still play 40 games for City next season in all comps. But again, if you want to go, a year left on your contract, no problem. You want to go. Jesus, same. Bernardo Silva, different. there will be a lot of conversations. And I don't believe it will be around wages. I don't believe it will be City pulling him in and saying, we'll give you more money. Don't think it'll be any of that. We've seen Mahrez sign a new contract, Rodri sign a new contract, Foden is about to. I honestly believe there will be conversations with Bernardo Silva that go along the lines of this. You know how much we appreciate you. We know how much you value us. We value you. You know the signings we've made this summer, that is to achieve things that we have not yet achieved. Whether it be to try once again in the Champions League, whether it be to try and retain 3 years on the bounce, to get up with what United did. Give us what, and also the fact that we weren't planning on this. This is not something we planned on. You give us 1 more year, and like the way we have with Fernandinho, like the way we have with Company, like the way we have with Silva, like the way we have with Aguero, we will honour you and let you go, like we did with Zeko. We will honour it, but please, because we need to be ready. We're not ready to lose the engine in our midfield. We have not brought in Haaland, Phillips, Alvarez, potentially Cucurella to then go, do you know what? We're going to go into next summer with a squad that is smaller than last year. And I think that will be it.
Daps. The only thing I'm going to come back with and see what you think, and I want to, Hassan, I'm going to ask you in a little while. Would Xavi?
I think it is.
Would now? I always ask questions that nobody thinks I'm going to ask. Watch, Hassan. I'm going to ask you later on, so I'm going to give you time because it's your first time. These guys been on a few times, so I'm not going to give them time to think. What I'm going to ask you is, will Xavi be prepared to wait if that's the case? Okay, or have you got enough, or will you move on? Daps. The thing that makes me think it won't be as smooth as you've just made it out to be is he was in a similar situation last season.
Last year.
And it seems, for again, without having inside knowledge about your club, it seems as though that was the conversation that was had last year. Because Bernardo wanted to leave, and it seemed like your club or Pep or whatever.
Yeah, possibly. That's a fair point.
It's another season, bro.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And he balled it out for you guys. And then,
hundreds.
And I don't know if you guys saw it. I'm sure you guys saw it. You saw the meeting with Laporta at Summit at a conference where Pep was there. Yeah, and they spoke about the player involved, Silva.
Bernardo Silva. Yep.
Bernardo Silva. And Pep said he's my player
for now.
For now, and I'm hoping to, and I like to keep all my good players, but I never like to keep an unhappy player.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Sterling, unhappy, gone. Jesus, unhappy. Not unhappy. When I say unhappy, there's a reason why they left. Whether it's they wanted them, not unhappy. It doesn't have to be unhappy. Yeah. Like, it doesn't have to be unhappy that I'm pissed off. I'm not going to ball. I'm not going to put my effort in for you lot. Yeah? You obviously leave if there's something unhappy about the whole package, right? Bernardo
the potentially. Otherwise, City would be offering them. If City want to keep players, they'll try and keep them.
But it's not a money situation. This is what we've discussed.
No, but try and keep them. That's what I'm saying.
Silva is not about the money. Silva is not about the life.
No,
about loving Man City. He loves Man City. He loves Pep. He loves the players. The camaraderie is there. You can see it. They love him.
Yeah.
But it's a family situation.
I agree
and family situations hasn't changed by the sounds or looks of it because he still wants to. He hasn't come out and said, I'm staying. No,
he wants to
go.
And
the fact that Barcelona are trying to pull him away.
He wants to go. I'm not a City fan that's going to try and. He wants to go. Let me be
exactly.
Clear. He's
so
professional enough that if he stays, he'll play, but he wants to go.
I think Pep, if that's the case, Pep will say, put your money where your mouth is, Barcelona. And so then we can keep it moving.
Well, here's the thing. And this is where it makes a triangle so beautiful, right? There's a few things.
Oh, you wouldn't come in for Frankie de Jong.
No.
Disown you.
Look, right. Let me be very clear. That I do.
Kaz would go mad.
I've had this conversation on several streams where people have said, what would happen if... Now, I think that is Pep's dream. If Barca turn around, because, right, the same as with the Ake thing and how the Ake thing unfolded was, we didn't want to sell Ake. We wanted to sell others. We didn't want to sell Ake. But when they offered us money, City said, okay, give us a couple of days. Let's go and dip our toes in the water, see what's out there for what you're offering us, because this is one we weren't ready for. We were ready for the Fernandinho to leave. We know we have to replace Mendy. This is one we haven't planned for yet. Let's go and dip in there. Unfortunately, Koulibaly went for 35 million, so Otherwise, I think if Koulibaly was still out there for 35, we might have took 40 for Ake and gone and got Koulibaly. But that's gone. You look at all the world-class centre-backs, 40 million, 45 million for Ake, you're not getting a replacement. And I think ultimately City turned around and said, so on Bernardo Silva, it's very similar. Elephant in the room, Jude Bellingham. For me, very quickly, people can claim he might go here, might go there, might go. Athletic is saying 120 and that's the deal. Listen, he has a World Cup to play. We don't know what he's going for till next summer and where he goes, no one knows, right? That everyone in world football is going to be in for him, and every club that's in for him puts another 5 million on his value. We're going to leave that for next summer, in my opinion.
I'll tell you where he's going to go at the end of the conversation.
Okay, that's fine. I don't believe you know, Grizz, but that's fine. I don't think he knows yet. But if Barcelona were to turn around and say, we'll give you 80 million for Bernardo Silva, that still leaves us that we have to go and find an engine for our midfield now, if we want to achieve what we want to achieve next summer now, and he's an engine. We haven't planned for it. However, if they turn around and said, we'll give you Jong and 20 million over 2 years or something like that, I think Pep would be like, listen, ultimately, let me have a chat with Bernardo. Bernardo, do you really want to go? Yeah, okay, cool, take it. Because I've got something to work with. We don't have to go out, scout people. And I think Pep would ultimately go, yeah, we've tried. I can try and force him again to stay, but ultimately he's going to go. We have to just take, and in Jong, you are getting a world-class midfielder, which otherwise we go out there into a market that we're not ready for, and that's not good. So,
can I just add something? That is actually Barca's management dream, not Barca's fan dream, but that's Barca's management dream. And I think they're even willing to take Bernardo Silva and pay $10 million extra just to, sell Frankie de Jong. But Man City is the one that doesn't want it. And that surprises me because Gundogan is going to leave
next summer. Yeah.
And Frankie de Jong is a like-for-like replacement and maybe even better than Gundogan. And
younger.
Another thing that surprises me is that Man U is going for Frankie de Jong, but they haven't bought a defensive midfielder because
I'm so glad you highlighted that.
Because you need someone like what's his name? Your defensive midfielder,
Rodri.
There's no one.
You need someone like Rodri.
I thought you were going to say Declan Rice then. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but so that is the Barca's management dream, to sell Frankie de Jong and get Bernardo Silva. Even pay 10 million extra or 20 million extra to get him. But I don't think Man City wants.
It's weird because through this whole time, I've always thought, could this be what Barca is slightly keeping in their back pocket? This is why de Jong's taking slightly longer. But I'll be honest, you always see, if things like that are happening, you'll see one or two reports on it. There's nothing out there. So I don't think it is going to happen, but I've been asked it. And I think that is the one that Pep would go, well, yeah, all right, if this guy really wants to go, but we can get a central midfielder, maybe not like for like, but something I can work with, because Gundogan is going next season. The whole thing is, next summer, Gundogan goes. If we do keep Bernardo, he goes. Next summer, 100%. He might go this summer. We have to use this season to get Grealish and Foden potentially ready to play deeper. We started with Foden last year, but because of certain reasons, he switched back to there. They could play deeper, but they're not ready. They don't have engines like Bernardo Silva. They're not ready to do that role. Maybe several years down the line, but it took Bernardo Silva a couple of years to switch from playing kind of wide right to playing deeper. So we can't expect two younger players to do that. For me, I've said it many times, if Bernardo Silva goes, it's not as big as Haaland coming in, but it's a massive loss. It's a big thing that I know Grizz would smile about.
100%. When a good player,
I wouldn't be happy with it, though.
When a good player leaves a rival, it's like Sadio Mane. You know how many people loved when Sadio Mane is leaving Liverpool. Bernardo Silva. Look, Sterling will affect the way Man City play. Jesus leaving will affect the Man City play. The biggest effect will be if Bernardo Silva.
Yeah, agreed, 100%, bro.
He's the brain. He's the key.
Look, if you would have gone 3 weeks ago you speak to Steve, you speak to me, you speak to any other City fan, we're rating our transfer window sensationally. We're saying, you know, bringing in Alvarez, bringing in Haaland, we brought in Phillips, we're bringing in Cucurella. That will happen. The Zinchenko thing just confirms even more that is happening.
100%.
We're starting to actually make money off our academy players that are not good enough to break through, but with buyback clauses. Everything is good. The fact we're bringing money in on players that we believe ultimately, if Pep's letting players go, it's because I think we're changing our system slightly. Everything looked good. And then you see Bernardo, and it's like, all right, you're going to start making me rate my transfer window that little bit less. Bernardo's still huge, man. We love him, and
it's pivotal. It's pivotal, and it's pivotal. Hassan, it's been wonderful chatting. Before we let you go, I'm going to keep it moving. I've got so many people waiting to come on, and I've been going 2 hours.
Your Saturday night streams are doing numbers.
I want to ask you, Hassan. Appreciate that. I want to ask you, Hassan. Give us a prediction of how you see the window ending for you in terms of the Frankie de Jong scenario, the Bernardo Silva scenario, and if you bring in anyone else apart from Bernardo Silva as the only target that we know. Tell us one more signing that you would like.
Okay, I think we're gonna sign Kunde from Sevilla next week.
Oh, the Kunde. Okay, the centre back.
Yep, that is, I think, gonna be happen. And I think
how does this pan out?
I think we're gonna sell Frankie de Jong at the end of the day.
Do you think Depay is going to go as well?
Bernardo Silva, and we're not going to bring Bernardo.
Do you think Depay is going to go, and who? Or do you?
Hold on, Daps. You're not going to bring in Bernardo Silva, you think?
I don't think so.
Oh, thank you. Cheers.
I would love to have him, and Xavi would love to have him, but it's just, and it makes sense mathematically in terms of all the, you would save 20 million in 4 years. But
have you got an engine in midfield?
Oh yeah, we have Gavi, we
Frankie.
have Nico.
Oh, Barcelona or Frankie?
No, has Barcelona got an engine, like literally, because Bernardo gets numbers, like he sets.
That's why they brought in Kezi, and they rely on Gavi for that. Gavi is a dream, but he's not.
Yeah. He's young. It's like when we talk about Foden and Grealish doing that mold, they're not ready for it just yet.
And we have Nico. He's very similar in terms of style to Frankie de Jong, but he's still young. He's also 18, 19. Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't think we're gonna buy Bernardo Silva. It's just.
I hope not.
It is a lot of money. And one thing I wanted to ask Daps, but aren't you scared of, even though you have bought so many fantastic players, but aren't you scared of this transfer season just because you've let lots of players go? And I think
I trust my board and I trust my club,
because you brought in Grealish and he would have fit perfectly in Man City, but it's going to take him time to adapt to Pep's style. So quality players, but I think next year Man City might not be in the best place as they were last season, just because I think of course they're going to be the favorites and they're going to be there in the backs, but I think the Silva decision, how it goes, could sway people's opinions.
It will change stuff. It will change shit. 100%.
Hassan, it's been wonderful, my brother. Thank you very much.
What's your socials?
Mine.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't really use social media.
Oh, salute you, bro. Keep your mind clean like that, brother.
Exactly. The best decision you made in your life.
There you go.
Thank you very much, my friend.
Oh yeah.
People find me, man. Don't worry about that.
Thank you.
All right. Take care of yourself.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Guys, people are asking. People are asking. Don't kick. How do I kick a mate? I mean, kick.
Right.
Like, look how you said it.
You can kick us like the way you kick the ball.
Yeah.
Stop talking about that.
So fun.
Wait, are you two talking? Are you talking?
I'm a baller, bro, so I don't mind.
Listen to me. I ain't played ball for 9-10 years. The reason why is 75% of my right cartilage was taken out. That's why. So when I kick the ball, I have to be so careful, wary. But saying all of that, so it was shocking.
No, Grizz, you know what? Yeah, I'll be.
The boys will tell you.
Bro, no. That's what I was going to say, bro.
And they're all shocking.
Matisse, like on. So me and Matisse do Love Island every night, and he was a night or two.
Matisse and you do Love Island. Can you explain that without?
So me, Matisse, rants, and sometimes
Kaz, that sounded a bit. You know what I mean? Me and Matisse do Love Island every night. Yeah.
Me, Matisse, Rants, and sometimes Deludaguna do Love Island watch-alongs, but we try and do them where we're talking football. We commentate like it's football, but about like we'll compare Davide to Zlatan and stuff like that, right? But we were talking the night that you had the football thing. He was like, "You lot wait, because this is content." He was going, and someone had a stinker. Now, because it was golf, and I know that Matisse lives in Ireland, I'm like, I think you're fine. But who was it? It was Steve there. They're like, because I know Steve's got a couple of techers in there. And Matisse was saying, I'm not saying nothing. And he wouldn't say anything. I was trying to work out who it was.
Everyone thought I'm going to finish last and a long way.
Bro, I'll be 100. But I hit up Steve. And Steve was like, no. I think Grizz is all right, you know. I think Grizz is all right. He goes, Toby. He goes, Toby, Matisse. He goes, I wasn't even there, but I think Toby and Matisse. Then when I heard Matisse was wearing Air Force Ones, I was like, ooh.
Listen, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. I'm not allowed to give too much away. But all I'm going to say is I am so embarrassed about my performance, like personally, because I know what I can do and what I used to be able to do. Right? I've only got 25% cartilage in my right knee. People need to realize what that means. What that means is there's no, what's it called? You know, the rubber thing in the middle.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called.
Oh man, no, like a shock absorber. So basically, when you got two mils, cartilage is a shock absorber goes around. So I've only got 25%. So my knees scrape together when I do certain movements. The bones, that's how painful it is. So when I didn't follow through in certain shots, it was half tactical, but majority fearful that I'm going to hurt myself bad, and I can't afford to take off time work just because of a golf tournament. But all I'm going to say is I was embarrassed with my performance, but that's because I've got high expectation standards. I was embarrassed. I'm going to do better, but it was not the most embarrassing. That's what I'm going to say.
There was young guys there that are toe punting the ball, and I can already tell if a man's good at football by his technique when he runs up to the ball. And I was very embarrassed that I see toe punts, bro.
Kaz, we're gonna book that place, and you're gonna realize it's not about technique. Football it's not
technical. It's tactical, bro.
It's different. Exactly. You're allowed to do whatever you need to do to get the ball in a hole. Tactical. So it's not about Beckham-esque curls and
no. Your ball staying on the fairway.
No, it's going up toe punch. You're going off the pitch. When I say this now, in future, anyone that does foot golf, side foot passing will get you so much further than booting the ball long. Pass the ball, aim it, and I'm not joking because it's thin grass as well. It will slide.
Guys,
it shouldn't go
listen.
off. There you go.
Anyway,
I promised. Exactly. I promised this is a call-in show, man. So many people waiting patiently. I'm going to get the next caller in. Zuberi is in the house. Zuberi, welcome to the channel, my friend. I believe it's your first time.
Thanks for having me, man. How you guys doing?
Oh my God, he's Dr. Zuberi. He was on thingy channel yesterday.
Coppish.
You know where it is. Coppish, that's it. There you
go. Okay. Of course, shout out my boys at Coppish. Zuberi, how you doing, my friend? First on my channel. It's a pleasure and honor to have you. What would you like to speak about, my brother?
Nah, it's a pleasure being here. I didn't know I was gonna be here with those two guys. I got a lot to say to them, but
okay.
I want to say it on their show, though. I want to say it on you guys' show. I'm gonna have to get over it.
No problem.
But Grizz, I gotta give you respect, man. You know football, and I always gotta. I want to ask you, man, because a lot of fans they don't respect footballers and the career path, and that it is a career path. It's something they train for. So there's a lot of men that's probably like balling out in training and collapsing during games, and we don't see that, and we don't respect that, because that's me. When I play football, I'm doing the most in training. I'm, skinning players. I'm doing all the freestyle Ronaldinho-esque stuff. When I get in the game, and I'm just like side passes, sideway passes, quick little ones.
Why? Nerves or what? Like I'm not mocking. Why?
I don't know. I think it's because I never had the right coach. I think it's the coach. It comes down to the coaching. Because I would do all that crazy stuff, and then he puts me in the game and gives me a direction he's never given me in training. So he's like, I'm a center DM. I play a right wing. I right back. That's like my preferred position. But a dude will put me on in like left wing and be like, yo, because of your pace, run down there and dump you, man. Knowing I got no faith in my left foot.
Sounds like Ollie, to be fair.
So now I'm running down the wing, no faith in my left foot. And you know, ballers, they can see them like, oh, no, that dude is right-footed, so keep him on the left. Once they get me on the left once, and I do some crazy toe punch, they're gonna show me down the left-hand side. So now I'm in my head, nerves getting to me. So I think it's coaching, you know. So I'm
100%.
never being
Coaching's
utilized
everyage,
at
bro.
my best.
Trust me, at a young age as well.
Everything. It's everything. And I think what some coaches like Klopp, I think he's the type that reinforced that. Like, yo, nah, you're good. Keep doing it. It just didn't work in this game. Keep going. And I don't know if it's the same thing as me, but for some guys, it's just not working out. But, you know, Klopp will say, yeah, no, they're balling out in training. You know, they're looking good. I put them in the game. You know, you can't really quantify it. But us as fans, we don't see that. We don't even care. Some of us don't care about that. We're like, yo, get them out of here.
He spoke
No,
about
deeper
Zuberi.
stuff than that, though, bro. To be honest with you, they're deeper
No,
stuff than that with coaches.
But I think I know what Zuberi is referring to, and I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Klopp alluded to it. Zuberi, do you remember this week he spoke about how fans are in, how he called out certain sections of fan bases where he said fans think players can't improve and get better. So basically, that's what he said. Like, so he said, we as coaches, and this is what I think what he meant. What he means is we are football coaches. That's our title. We coach players. The purpose of a coach, the main job title of a coach is to coach player. Of course, there's different branches and people, different managers, coaches have different styles and whatever. Some are man motivators, some are tacticians, some are good with the boardroom, some are good with the commercial side, whatever. But Jurgen Klopp is a coach per se. That's what he does. He improves players. He's got a track record of improving hell a lot of players. We can talk all night about players that he's improved. I think what he was referring to was exactly what you're saying about the impatient side of fans that see a player and see a season and say, dash him. I want new. Okay, dash him. I want new. When we employed Klopp, when I say we, it's like
You're talking about Chelsea.
No. But what I'm saying is when I'm talking about Liverpool, when we employed Klopp, Liverpool, we knew what we're getting. We're not getting a Mourinho or Conte who believes in, I want success now. Yeah. I want players now, bang, bang. If not, move it up. Keep it moving. No. We knew Jurgen Klopp likes to bring in players and then tries to make them better. Now, I know one of the criticisms of Jurgen Klopp is his loyalty. But if you're going to ask me if his loyalty is more of an advantage than disadvantage, I will argue with you all day and night, bro. I will tell you that his loyalty to players is overall is one of the reasons why he's one of the most elite coaches in world football right now. Overall, no manager is perfect. Pep, Conte, all the great managers right now, they all have their flaws.
This isn't a Pep Klopp conversation.
Yeah. Training is different though.
There are other managers.
They all have their flaws. And of course, Klopp's sometimes his loyalty does work against him. But I think it's nitpicking. If you're trying to make the perfect manager, you're not going to get it. You have to accept their flaws and rejoice in their skills that they bring to your team and your club. And for me, when people tell me, oh, you know what, Jurgen Klopp, he's too loyal, it's going to be the downfall of him. Bro, when that day happens, no problem. Until then, that guy is king in my eyes. Do you understand? And Pep, and Daps will tell you the same about Pep.
Pep's the same, yeah. Pep's the same. I think Arteta's trying. You know what? Arteta's trying to be the same. The problem is he hasn't earned the right to be the same yet. But Arteta's trying to be the same type of manager. Yeah, you're spot on. I think both of them are that.
Training is different though, man. You're in your comfortable zone. You got confidence in training. You know your group of players. That's the difference. I'm telling you now, football's 80% ability, 20% confidence. But it's when your raw ability is up to the coach to nurture that ability and put that on the field, innit? That's up to them and get that confidence out of you. But that's the whole point. If you're a confidence player, you will fail in football, bro. You will never reach to the top, unfortunately, because there will be times where you go through bad spells. And goalkeepers are typically confidence players. Once they have a bad spell, it's long way coming back. Promise you that. But other than that,
I think Pep and Klopp both do this with younger players. That's why they're being so successful. Because at the moment, with Pep and Klopp, In fact, I'll talk from a City point of view because you lot can talk on the Liverpool side. I don't want to. He's your manager, so I don't need to boost him like that. But with Pep, remember with Foden, Pep was getting, oh, he should play more, he should play more, he should play more, he should play more. If Pep played Foden back then because the media and everyone else was telling him to play more, does that improve Foden's confidence? No, because he's doing it because everyone's telling him to play more. And one of City's actually academy players spoke on this. However, if all of a sudden out of nowhere, Pep's saying, no, it's the Carabao Cup, but I'm still playing a full-strength team. But then all of a sudden we're playing Tottenham in the Premier League and Pep's going, Foden, I want you to play this game. As a player, he's thinking, fucking hell. Pep, who's never picked me because it's a shit game and we don't need to win this game, is all of a sudden against Tottenham. And I'm speaking about a specific game in the season where we won the league over Liverpool. It happened out of nowhere, called him, Foden came on and scored. And I know Klopp has done the same thing, where all of a sudden trust is put in a young player out of nowhere. Guess what happens to that young player's confidence? It's through the fucking roof. Because a player that's not picking him because the media is telling him to, has just called him up in a very important game. Now, he won't do that with every single young player because not every single young player ultimately is going to be a success in Liverpool and Manchester City. We're playing at a very high level. It will only be with, and McAtee has just signed a new contract because he said, Pep said to McAtee, you will follow the same route as Foden. You're not going out on loan. You're staying here. You're being around these players. And when it's time, you will play games. Not when anyone tells me. When it's time, you will play games. And that's what elite managers do. They don't just play players because the media and everyone else is telling them. Because that's never going to boost my confidence at all. What's going to boost my confidence is if a manager that never picks me, all of a sudden picks me in a very important game. I'm going to be like, what have I done? So I think... I don't see anyone should be questioning Pep or Jurgen on management. I think these are the type of conversations that I don't even get why they would happen with, to be honest with you. Why would you challenge Klopp as a manager right now? Why would you challenge Pep as a manager right now?
I think. Oh, go on, Zubair. I'll let you.
I'm not saying. By the way, I'm not saying you are. By the way, bro.
Oh no. So, but I
we've
did.
got a City and United fan, so we've gone that route. But
yeah, no, I did that strategically because I'm a football lover. So I don't like when people try to dissect, the owners, get the owners out, or they're like, get this player out or get the manager out. I don't like that talk. So when I came on the scene on Copish, there was a lot of FSG out. I'm like, yo, they own the club. You know what I mean? So they can make good decisions that impact us as fans or bad decisions, but they own the club. Let's show them support. Let's show them we're here. And if they're doing something wrong, I'm pretty sure there's something they can learn from us, like the Super League. Like, I really felt his apology was heart. You know what I mean? Like, that was coming from the heart.
Same with City did the same. Yeah, I agree.
But a lot of fans, and I don't want to, get on the fans now, but I'm a Liverpool fan, born and raised in Jamaica, and I'm in America. I've never been to Liverpool. I'm pretty sure there's more Liverpool fans around the world than fans in Liverpool. So to cater to just that one fan base, it makes no sense. But you have to respect that's the hometown, that's home turf, that's foundation. No disrespect on that, but you can't just be like, get them out of here. They don't understand. The world is bigger than Liverpool. And like I said, there's millions more supporters than that. So when they're saying FSG out, I'm not defending them because I'm in America now. I'm defending them because I know they're great business owners. I've worked in sports. I've done TV in sports. I provide power for all the TV sets and satellite trucks and all that. So I know the behind the scenes in sports. And they're great at what they do. They don't understand football, so that's why they brought in Klopp. So they both go together. You have a great coach and you have a great owner. You can do great things. The only missing piece is probably, like a City stack lineup with just a lot of great players. And that's unfortunately something we don't have. But Klopp is seeing these men doing great things in training. We're just not seeing it on the field. You can't expect more.
I've agreed, and I'm smiling and glowing. I'm not showing the smile outside because long day. It's been 2-hour show, and I've been,
It's a hard conversation as well. I've seen it from City's point of view. It's a hard conversation.
No. I hear everything he said, and I
hear it.
pretty much agreed with everything he said. as well. Until I had to interject, and I don't like interjecting on the call-in show because it's not about my opinion, it's about you guys' opinions. Yeah, but when he said the only thing missing is we don't have a great team, do you want to expand on that?
No. All right, let me expand on it. When I say great, I'm talking about
Before you do that quickly, I'm dipping respectfully. I'm tired. I'm not even joking.
Yes,
Nice
please
one.
go, because what I'm
Love
about
that,
to say,
man.
you'll love it. So when you watch this back, you'll love it. So take care. We'll
I'll
see
promise you
Cam.
now, I'm not watching this back. But big up you, man. Follow me at
Yes,
MUFC.
love.
on
I'll
Insta,
hold you
bro.
later, brother.
All right, I like it.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, take care, man. I smash a like if you feel that Grizz's cartilage in his knee is gonna grow back in a bit.
I'm taking you golf, bro. I'm taking me and you going, and we're gonna deal with this now. All right, bye.
We can do this all
Bye.
day.
I'm removing you right now.
All right.
Right.
So
Sorry.
I'm
Grizz,
interested in this conversation.
what I mean
too.
by
I
great
like
team.
these conversations.
Yeah. Let's do this.
What I mean by
conversation.
great
Let's
team,
have a
I'm
little
talking
chat
about when the commentators start reading the lineup, you have to change your boxes 3 or 4 times. You know, like he hit the goalkeeping position, and he, just going through the lineup, it's nothing but just like ballers. Like there's even the bench. You seen the bench, and you're just like creaming off the bench. I'm talking about that great team.
I'm not on that.
Let him land.
What I mean by that, like, it's no disrespect to no players. I'm just saying, if we had something like that, one of them generational squads like Fergie had, where the lineup was just mad. Like, you had some just ballers coming off the bench. You're like, oh, God. You know what I mean? Just like the dream Real Madrids and the dream, like the Galacticos, like one of them lineup. Imagine Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp, and FSG with that. I think that's what fans are dreaming of when they're like downplaying the midfield, because we're downplaying the midfield and we have like 9 midfielders.
Oh, it's being played down. Your midfield's being played down way too much. Let me be clear.
Yeah, no, but
Can
what
I
I'm
ask you
trying
a
to
couple of questions, quick?
Go ahead.
Firstly, right, how do I word this? James Milner. What's your opinion on James Milner? And let me go back. James Milner 3 years ago.
Solid player, right? Solid player. I couldn't pinpoint him to like. Matter of fact, I've always seen him around. The guy is consistent, by the way. His record is ridiculous as far as trophies and accomplishment. But he wasn't like my type of player. I like the flair players. You know what I mean?
All right. So, would you take Neymar at Liverpool?
Neymar, no. I've grown to respect football. No, I've grown to respect football. So the reason why I'm saying that, back in the day, I'm a big Ronaldinho fan. So seeing James Milner, I wasn't really impressed. But as I've grown to love football, I'm like, man, this guy's a gem. And we got him on the free.
Where you going with that?
We got him on the free.
No, because the reason I'm going with that is because, and to be fair, I'm confused because I was thinking he was then going to say take Neymar all day long, right? Now,
okay.
And this is the thing, and let me put some perspective on this. Arsenal fans, the amount of times I've heard Arsenal fans slate James Milner, right? And I've been like, this is why you lot aren't doing bits, right? Because every club need a James Milner, a Gareth Barry at some point you can't have. Let's look at a prime example. Let's take consideration of PSG, right? For me, when I saw PSG leave Wijnaldum out of their Champions League squad, I'm like, this is why that club is so fucked, right? Because they're so bothered about getting 3 Neymars or Messi's and Mbappe's, Di Maria's up top, that they're not understanding that you do sometimes need these workhorses. Do you know what? Let's call them 7.5 out of 10s, 8 out of 10s, whatever. Yeah, you need them. They are the guys you need in your team. Without them, it's not happening. Like, and PSG was a prime example. When they left Wijnaldum out, I'm like, how dare you? This guy's won Champions Leagues with Liverpool, right? You've brought him in and you're leaving him out of your team. And then ultimately you're being overrun in midfield because you've got these 3 guys. And again, I'll speak on Neymar because he's being linked with my club at the moment. We've played PSG 4 times in the last 2 years. I've seen nothing from Neymar that impresses me. Don't get me wrong. Neymar, I think... Chris, was it you on Big Six that said, has he underachieved? And I think everyone did not listen to that question correctly. That's not saying he's shit. That's not saying... It's saying for a guy that at 18 years old had the whole world in front of him, has he underachieved? That's all the question was. For someone good,
what I said was he's got the talent, pure natural talent, to be spoken in terms of Messi and Ronaldo. In my opinion, no doubt. But is he spoken in the terms of Ronaldo and Messi? No. So for me, that means he's underachieved. That's just my opinion.
And that is, it was me and you that were on it, and I got it 100%. Because if you think about it, he left PSG to step away. Sorry, he left Barcelona to step away from the Suarez and Messi thing and get the limelight himself. Now, firstly, to go to PSG when Mbappe's there, it was probably a silly move because you moved from being under Messi to now moving under. You've gone to PSG that are French with the French wonder kid there. It wasn't the best of moves, but. What you said was spot on. It's not saying he's done badly. It's just saying the guy could have been here and he's just below. And the reason I asked about Milner is because when you were talking about, you said that you want Liverpool to have a squad that when people look at it, they're like, oh my God. That's what, look, the start of this season, everyone told us PSG has to win everything. They didn't, because they had a squad full of, oh my gods. It don't work. And I even said on Ten Hag, Man United not having Champions League football is probably good because they shouldn't be going and buying none of these commercial superstars. Ten Hag needs to be finding players that suits his systems. You know what? I will banter people on stream because that's what we do. The fact that he's found Malacia for 18 million, I'd probably have more faith in than if he went and spent 75 on a left back that everyone rates super highly and everyone knows because he's found someone relevant to his system. It's what Klopp does. It's what Pep is trying to do. If Neymar came to City, I think Pep would be having conversations with the board saying, hold on, the Haaland thing, you convinced me that was the right thing. Neymar, I'm not taking two of them.
It's a great point, and I want to bring it back to Liverpool. Zaberi, I'm going to unmute you because I think you had a few noises coming out. That's why I didn't. Have I unmuted you?
Not yet.
Sorry, I've done it now. No, why can't I unmute him? Are you unmute yourself?
I think you're both pressing it at the same time.
Are you there now?
Yeah, I muted myself.
Okay, cool. Zaberi, I want to bring it back to Liverpool.
Okay.
I think in terms of squads, this squad, the last year, two maximum, is the best squad I've seen in in my lifetime, which is a lot. Yeah. So I don't think there's. We can all be greedy and want more because that's the nature of us fans, right? Daps, you know that as well. We all like that. We all want more in our lives. Never mind our football clubs and football teams. We want more. People that win the lottery, what do? They go out and buy more.
Oh, well, footballers want more money because they want a yacht instead of a house. Money.
So, Zaberi, we can always want more. Oh, you know what? We've only got 4 centre-halves. I want 5 centre-halves of that quality. You know what? We've only got 5 forwards. I want 6 forwards of that quality. As you said, very importantly, football is now, whether we like it or not, it's a business. And businesses don't operate like that. And as far as businesses go and operate, we're one of the best run businesses in world football. And that's all we can ask for from an owner that is not a lover of the club or a lover of a fan of the town. Do you know what I mean? Like someone who grows up supporting Liverpool and suddenly becomes one day the owner of Liverpool. They're not. They don't give a shit.
It's what you just said this week, like compared to last time. That was spot on.
No, they don't give a shit.
Businesses, they are one of the best run businesses.
They own Liverpool for a reason. People need to accept and deep that from time. They bought it to become one of their vehicles on the juggernaut that they own. Liverpool is just one of their vehicles. But you know what? They look after this vehicle nice. They wash us up nice. They get valeted nice. They treat, when there's a problem, they fix it to the best as much as they can. Because it's like, imagine, Liverpool is like, imagine it like a car. All right, a few gearbox issues, man. Why don't we just put in a brand new gearbox, man? Just do it. Can we do it all the time in our lifetime in reality? No, we have to wait until we can afford to do it. Or can we work something? This is how they operate, unfortunately. And as far as they operate in that manner, and we are where we are, I'm good with that. The moment they treat us like an old banger, don't service us, don't look after us, you know what I mean, don't get us washed,
Roof leaking.
then we make noise. Otherwise, it's just for me, just me. I'm not speaking for the Liverpool fan base, of course. I'm only giving my opinion. Until then, it's just for me. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say how it is, boys. And whoever offends, I don't care. It's bitching for bitches. It's just bitching, bitching, bitching. That's all it is.
Well said, well said. And I want to tell you this, Grizz. I'm a Red Sox fan, right? And like I said, I've done sports. When Red Sox fan here, Anfield is getting an extension and we're doing all this stuff over there, they're upset, and rightly so. But where the stadium of Red Sox is, there's no room for improvement. The way it was constructed years ago with beams, there's literally a seat in the Red Sox. If you get that seat, the seat is sitting behind a support beam. You can't even see the
Them
kid.
ones. That was
Mad.
90s vibes. That was 90s vibes. I remember
But
that.
there's
Mad.
no room for expansion. Like I've been there. When I say no room, it's in the old city. There's no room. I'm a Penguin fan in hockey as well. I've been there for the TV shows. The places these are located, there's no real room for growth and bringing in money. So for them grabbing Liverpool, it was a dream grab. When I mean a dream grab, they have these ambitions, but they can't do what some of the other sports teams do. Like here in America, you can be Liverpool, but then Liverpool get moved to some other place in England.
Yeah, I've seen that with
I'm pretty sure if they tried that in England, that's the new stadium probably get burned down or something.
Well, yeah. MK Dons moved from Wimbledon to there.
So you can't just move Liverpool.
You can't do that shit.
No,
You can't do
and
that
with
shit.
Liverpool, in particular with Liverpool, you can never
Exactly.
do that.
And I
No,
think
not
that's
with
the
Liverpool.
fear some of the Scouts fans had. Like, are they gonna try to move Liverpool to London kind of thing? And I don't think they had that intention. I think they just had it because it was a canvas that had a lot of room for development and bringing in a lot more revenue. Liverpool is probably their best car, despite the way other fans see it. As far as revenue is concerned.
What other fans?
No, because there's a lot of people that's just not really feeling FSG as far as not knowing football.
I'll be honest. Grizz said something that was spot on. They're a business, and as far as a business, they're run. Now, I will be honest. I will come out and say, not the January we've just had, the January before. So this 2020, 2021. When we went into January, it was Liverpool, Man City, and Man United in the title race. This was the season Van Dijk was injured. Okay. For me, in my opinion, they could have backed Jurgen better with a centre back, and I believe if they would have got a better centre back in as a replacement for Van Dijk, Liverpool could have kicked on and won the league. Right, I do believe that, but they didn't. I forgot about that now because the season after you nearly did the quad, so that was a bad season. And me, yes, I will look. I'm very lucky that predominantly my club does good things, but
I agree with you. Check this out. I don't agree that we would have won the league because
I said you might have.
Yeah, exactly, we might have. But I agree with you. So there's two things, but I want to address there. Who's saying owners don't make mistakes?
No, they do, bro. 100% agree on that. Yeah.
So we make mistakes. They make mistakes. They may internally accept that was a mistake.
Yeah, that's a good point. Mature point as well.
They may internally accept, because the way that season panned out, we ended up fucking finishing third still, right? So internally they may think, yeah, okay. The other side that we don't discuss, and this is where the conversations in certain sections of the fan bases, media, is going now. And this is where it gets dangerous. And Arsenal fans, if there's any Arsenal people in the building, will tell you. Where this gets tricky is when you start realizing and accepting, when you start realizing and thinking, realizing that, you know what, all this time we were slagging off the owners. Klopp might be part of this team. Klopp might be part of this mentality where he agrees with the way they're operating. Despite what he says in public, despite what he says in a press conference, because Klopp, again, is not a child. He's a mature man. It's part and parcel of this juggernaut business that FSG are. They hired Klopp for a reason, people. They didn't hire Ancelotti for. They didn't hire Ancelotti for a reason. Ancelotti wanted money and instant rebuild. They said, nah, he's not the man for us. Klopp said, yeah, I'm here for rebuild. Yeah, I believe in sell to buy. I believe in thinking. So he was recruited on the fact that he's going to operate like this and we're going to work like this. He agreed. That was the first contract Daps he signed. Check this out. Hold on.
Chris,
let me land.
mad interesting. I need to switch this back in a minute.
Let me land.
Go.
So he says he signed that first contract. Is this how you're going to operate? Yeah, we're not going to give you 200 million for a rebuild. We're going to work with the squad we've got. We'll buy and sell. We'll operate. We'll give you the scouts. We'll have your network. We'll build your network. Klopp said, okay, I'll sign a deal to become Liverpool manager. We loved the journey. I'm talking as a Liverpool fan, just a Liverpool fan. Nothing more.
Yeah,
we love that journey.
I think Man United would love that journey years ago. To be fair,
then we got to the journey where he got us to the zenith, which was for us the league title. Yeah, league title for us, Champions League title. That's for us. What happens? We want adjustment in our heads, in our egos, in our lives. We want FSG to evolve now. Yeah, now we want FSG to work differently. No problem, that's fine. Of course, I wanted the same thing. Now that we reached the top, you have to have a different model to stay at the top. That's what we all said, right? None of us have got an ounce of experience, acumen on that level, but we still thought that, which is fine, no problem, even though we don't know. Jurgen Klopp signed another extension. Daps, I don't know if you know about this. Liverpool fans will tell you. Jurgen Klopp, at that stage, signed another extension. What does that mean? That means he agreed with the next steps FSG told him. Now we're going to do this, Jurgen. Are you on board still? He could have said, you know what? You didn't give me shit to get here, according to some fans. For me to stay at this level, I'm going to need shit. I'm going to need X. I'm going to need Y. I'm going to need Z. I need a different way of operating.
Whatever the objectives have changed.
Whatever the conversations were, Daps, what did Jurgen Klopp do? Signed that contract as well. That's 2 contracts Jurgen Klopp signed. Then after that is what you're referring to, the incident of the January where we didn't buy a centre back. Everyone talks about that, innit, Zuberi? You know what we're talking about right here. Daps, you know, Liverpool fans tell you could have. FSG didn't back him, buy a centre back. Which manager worth his salt at that stage? That was 2 years ago, season and a half ago. Yeah. Which manager at that stage still signs another extension when if he's been treated wrongly or badly and he thinks he's not been given the tools? Listen, if your staff are thinking Daps ain't giving us what we need to do our job and then shouting at us on top of that, we're leaving.
Bo, listen, what you've just said.
So I'm just going to very quickly end it. He signed a 3rd deal just months ago because he believes in the whole structure, not just his time at Liverpool. He believes in the whole system. So then what do we want? Are we saying now that Klopp's the problem?
Yeah. You know what?
Is this where we're going?
But what you've just said there is, I've never looked at it that way, but I always use the complete opposite on Arsenal. The other side, which is the board side. And that is when I hear Arsenal fans saying when they wanted Wenger out, now they want Arteta out. I always say to them, you can have him out, no problem. But you do realise, and let's go back to Wenger. Wenger is in this job. Wenger keeps getting contract extensions because you have to step out of the football world, go into the business world. No one gets contract extensions unless they are hitting objectives. So Wenger is getting constant contracts put in front of him because he's hitting objectives. Hold on.
With Klopp, it's not an objective thing.
No, it's a different way round. But ultimately, and then I say, so let's just say, when Wenger went, your board, I heard a lot of Arsenal fans saying they wanted Diego Simeone. And I said, so let's play this out. Your board invite Diego Simeone to an interview. He goes into the interview and he sits there and he answers their questions. Now, if you're not that good at your job and don't believe in yourself, then you answer the questions and then you go, okay, will I hear from you soon? And you walk out. If you back yourself and believe in yourself, once someone's asked their questions, this is also Ten Hag to Man United this season. You say, okay, it's not them interviewing you, it's you interviewing them. Well, here's my questions to you. And this is what will happen every time Arsenal try and hire a new manager. That the manager that they've interviewed in, and they've said that Arsenal fans want Diego Simeone. So let's say they've got him there and he switches and said, now I've got questions for you. Where do you want me to finish? At that point, Arsenal were like, because Wenger wasn't finishing top 4. But let's say he says 4th, maybe 5th. Diego Simeone is currently trying to challenge in the Liga, right? So straight away he's going to be like, okay, and what tools do I have to do this? They list the tools that he's got. And again, let's say it is, okay, well, you can buy players as long as you cut the wage bill by this and you do this and that. Instantly, it reduces the quality of the manager that Arsenal are going to bring in. So when Arsenal are saying we should get rid of this manager and bring this manager in, it's like, you haven't got that manager for a reason, because your board's objectives, quite simply, do not match the fans, right? And I'm not comparing this to Liverpool, by the way, but it's very interesting because I've always looked at it that way. You've just switched it on me and looked at it the other way round. That everything that Klopp has been doing is he's signing contracts because he wants to.
So I was wondering, before I get Zubair,
it's not that the board are letting him down. The board is doing what he's agreed for the board to do. So yeah,
before Zubair has a final say, because it's about your final say on this show, I just want to address this because Lukuman's having a bit of a go at me in the comments, and then eventually he's sending a super chat, so I'll read it, which is respected.
Yeah, right.
Grizz, you are my guy, but that's the most outlandish statement ever. Which one? So you're telling me? I didn't tell you, I just gave you my opinion. Klopp would say no to get Konate because he wanted to Kabak. Yeah, lol. I never said that at any stage. Look at I never said that at any stage. What I was saying is mistakes can happen. If you refer to my initial statement to Daps, was maybe internally they think they fucked up in that window. Maybe Jurgen Klopp thinks he was too stubborn because getting Konate in that January window was an impossibility because they were playing Leipzig 2 weeks later in the Champions League semi-final. No serious club, quarter-final or semi-final, I can't remember, or a very important game Leipzig were playing. They were no way going to sell us Konate. Jurgen Klopp, in my opinion, and I'd like to say it's a bit of an informed opinion at the time, Jurgen Klopp was offered a few other centre-backs. He didn't want. He knew he wanted Konate. Maybe that's a mistake from Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp's not perfect. Maybe it's a mistake from FSG. FSG aren't perfect. But to say what's outlandish, little man, back to you, what is outlandish is to say he would be happy to work with these people that are not giving him the tools to do the best job to his ability.
Just signed a contract.
That's outlandish.
Yeah.
Little man, that's outlandish. My statement is not outlandish, bro. I've admitted to you, FSG could have said we could have handled that window better. Fuck.
But do you know what?
Could have handled it better.
Do you know what? Fuck. When you talk on FSG, this is really relevant because City. So Khaldoon does an interview at the end of every single season where he talks on the previous season, and about 3 seasons ago, he spoke on something and he said, "No longer do we buy squad players." It was the end of a season. He said, "When we win the league, no longer do we buy squad players because the first 2 seasons we won the league. We did that. And if you look back, Rodwell, Sinclair, I can list a load of them, right? Players that are coming in that ultimately they're squad players. They're not pushing anyone. We were doing that because maybe our squad depth at the time wasn't quite right. But what happened there is, well, we're thinking if we stay the same, we're going to win the league again. Well, no, because if you just won the league, guess what? There's teams like Liverpool, teams like Chelsea that will go and spend more money to get better than you. So if you buy squad players to stay at the same level, they get better than you." And he said, "We've learned from that. We made mistakes." And that's it.
That's simple as that.
Mistakes.
Of course they can, man.
Change from it.
Listen, we're 18 likes away from 200. Reach that, man. That's a minor figure. Come on, reach that quickly. Zubairi, the floor is yours. Final say. No interruption from me and that. The floor is yours.
Respectfully, Daps. No, you're right. Grizz, yeah, you wasn't out of line with that statement, Grizz. You're spot on as far as mistakes go. In hindsight, I look back on that window. It could have went out multiple different ways. There's no guarantee the outcome would have changed. Whether we got in an alternative at a higher price, because everyone knows we're in desperate need. We lost Van Dijk, not to a muscle injury, by an assault. No one is speaking about that assault. Depths, don't smile. It was an assault on the man's knee, whether it was offside or not. So no one predicted that. That's like you going down the road and you had to get some extra supplies and you just pull your spare tire out the car to just use extra storage. You're, you're like, I'm going 5 miles, I should be fine. You're not predicting a flat on that 5 miles. Now you got a flat. You can get the truck, you can get your car towed to the house and deal with it there. You can get it towed to a shop and go pay a mechanic. These are the things you're gonna have to consult your budget with. We were blindsided that window. I think the best move was the move they took financially. I think they didn't know what to do. They didn't know if they should drop 50 mil or just get some loan guys in and get no one in. They didn't really know what to do. So I think they're just kind of like, look, we'll just play it safe, see what happens. And that what happened. I mean, it's one of those things. You can't have 4 players for each position, or even 2 for that matter. It's just not possible. How do you coach these guys? How do you tell Milamino, yo, you're the top goal scorer in a cup, but you're not even gonna be in the final? How do you tell a man that? You win the Golden Boot and you didn't even play in the final. Is he not good? Of course he's good, but you just don't have room for that. And like I said, I'm a big supporter of football, and I think people should start supporting the ownership, the coach, and whatever team you got. I don't care if it's 10 Milners, whatever team you got, because I think Milner is our 4th choice keeper and our 3rd choice winger.
Zaberi, it's been a pleasure speaking to you,
Very
man.
good point.
Love
That
you
final
guys,
point
man.
was sensational. When you support a club, you support everything about the club. That was the best point you made. And I hate when people go, "Oh, but you support the whole club." So anything that happens in that club, you should support. That is an amazing point, and I do.
And before I go, I'm gonna go out on a limb. Sorry, good. Sorry, I'm just gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna jump out. I'm still rooting for Karius to get a bounce back, but at this point, it's impossible. But I was rooting for him. So I'm gonna say, you guys be well.
Fair enough. Big up yourself, Zaberi, man. You know what? He was a nice guy to chat to.
Yeah,
man.
he
First time
was
I've come
good.
across him, apparently. But look, do you know what is that? I'm going to disagree with you
On what?
on something that you just said there.
What about supporting the whole club?
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
no, I'm a strong believer of that.
no,
Any
okay.
flaw they make, any mistake they make, you still have to take it on the chin.
Oh, no, we have to take on the chin.
Mm.
We have to. What
Like
can we
if
do
our
about
squad's
it?
not big enough, it's not.
No,
we can't do. But if our squad's not
Yeah,
big enough, that's
exactly.
our. It's Pep's fault. Pep
I
tries
don't
to
think-
operate with a small squad.
Yeah, but I wouldn't agree with you when you said you have to support every aspect of the club.
Well, you don't
What
have to
you
do
have
anything
to-
in life, but
Exactly.
yeah, that's fair.
But we can criticize though, but it's got to make the timing of the criticism has to make sense. That
Yeah.
To get my point.
Yeah, 100. Yeah.
So
You can't be fine with it for 6 years, then all of a sudden go. That's what I always say about Sterling. He's been that guy that misses opportunities for 6 years. So why in the 7th year we all of a sudden go, well, he's been like that. He's that friend that's shit with money. You've been best friend with him for 25 years.
You can criticize when
change.
you can criticize what you think is not going wrong or right. Well, that's fine, absolutely. But if you're just constantly in a state of negativity when your club's on an upward spiral, and just because it's not matching, I think it's
That's not us,
ego.
though, Chris. That's not us, Chris.
No, I'm just saying. If, like, for example, Arsenal have got every right to fucking go mad at their ownership and certain aspects of the club the last 5, 6, 7, 10 years. Yeah, Man United have got every reason to slag off their situation.
100.
What you said to me?
Forget Man City. Let's talk on Liverpool. Let me be very clear on Liverpool. You already know my view on it, right? Ultimately, Liverpool did not win the quad this season because they tried to compete in 4 trophies, right? The FA Cup final before the Real Madrid game, they looked tired, drained,
2 penny
knackered.
shootouts.
They looked fucking knackered, bro. If Tuchel managed that game better, he should have won it because Liverpool just looked tired. I think you had one more league game after that, then you had Real Madrid. Now, if you were playing any other team in Europe, apart from Real Madrid or Bayern Munich, the other two teams that I believe have heritage that is similar to yours, I think you get it over the line, right? I think you look tired, you look drained, you look knackered, but I think you get it over the line because of the heritage. Unfortunately, a tired Liverpool team that had been competing on 4 fronts came up against the one team whose heritage in that competition and the ability to get it over the line by any means necessary, you came up against. And that when Steve and I met outside a kebab shop after we went out to Real Madrid, we met a guy in a wheelchair, an Atletico fan. He said, "You're City boys," and we said, "Yeah." He said, "I'm sorry," he said, "but the first leg, not in the league, not in a cup, in Europe, one goal advantage, not enough. 2 goal advantage, not enough." He said, "It's a coffin. Every single nail you can possibly hit needs to be hit in that. If you want to take Real Madrid out of Europe, it's what you have to do." And that's how I kind of slightly in Europe feel about Liverpool. That in my lifetime, this is not slander on you, because the European Cup's the hardest one to win. You've won 1 league, but you've won countless Champions Leagues because you know how to do it when your team has not even been that good, because the heritage. And unfortunately, a tired Liverpool that have played so many games came up against a team with that heritage. It was just, that's all it was. And then you get to the summer, and I'm seeing certain members of the fan base saying, if we don't buy this and that, we're finishing 3rd. It makes 0 sense to me. Listen, do you need a midfielder this season? To me, no. If you don't address it right now, which you actually have by bringing in that young lad, Carvalho, next summer it will start impacting you. I still think you're fine for this summer. Mane last season was playing, at the end of last season, was playing through the middle. Yeah? What have you bought? Someone to play through the middle. So, and what else have you bought? Something that I thought you were going to need sooner or later was a replacement for Trent, because at one point he'll get an injury. So you need to have someone.
My
people. Well, you know my take. It's people that have
my point is, look,
things with their chest too much that they're ultimately.
Yeah, my point is, look, asking for perfection is fine. It's fine. You can ask for perfection. You can keep asking for more. You can ask for more, and that's the way you should have on all levels of your life as well. Not just when it comes to just a football team where you have no understanding of how it works. You get my point? So, for example,
I get it. You were challenging for the quad. So next season you don't want to only challenge for 1 trophy. Next season you want to challenge for the quad again. So I do.
But it's not easy as
it's
just
toxic. It becomes toxic, and
I want to get one last caller on, and he's been waiting a long time, and he's a gooner, so I'm assuming he's an Arsenal fan. Little Man says, first of all, Konate was available. He was out of favour with Nagelsmann. That doesn't mean someone is available. It's like saying, for example, let's say a valuable squad member of Man City. I don't know. Would you say Grealish is a valuable squad? Oh, okay. I don't know who. Anyone. But someone just because someone's out of favour or not in the team at the moment doesn't mean he's available. It doesn't work like that, little man. He was on the bench for those 2 games. Klopp loves the man. Teams. Klopp loves the club, man. That's why he signed. It doesn't matter if you love something. If the people that are paying your wages and run that club, Klopp doesn't own that club, little man. Klopp is an employee of FSG. If you love something but you're not getting supported and backed, and you don't agree with how they work or operate, love can only take you far. Klopp loved Dortmund. Klopp loved Mainz. Klopp loves Liverpool. Klopp loves a lot of people. Klopp loves his family. If he's not getting, if it doesn't matter if he loves a club and he's going to sign there for the rest of his life, the conditions have to be perfect for him and his family to continue, because it's not only him and his family, it's him. There's everyday stress for working for these owners. That's a hell of a stress, bro. Come on.
Pep always says he loves Barca.
And of course it's okay. We will agree to disagree. Listen, of course. Pep, look at that example. Of course it's okay to agree. We will disagree to agree, bro. Respect every time.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. That's the beauty of this. Without people agreeing and disagreeing, then
absolutely. Listen,
would not be here.
Listen, sometimes if I come across as aggressive or just aggressive, ignore it. Like, don't think of it as aggressive. Sometimes I get passionate on football topic. Exactly. Don't ever think I'm coming off aggressive or disrespectful. Never. Never. Unless someone's disrespectful to me, then you guys know what I'm like. I'm
If
a
the
dog eat dog.
comments aren't football related, it's
Yeah,
a different story.
Yeah.
But if they're
No,
football
people already
related,
know.
it's an
People already
opinion,
know.
man.
People already know. Look, I go on a variety of shows, man, and you know that as well. You know, if you want to talk football, we can talk football. If you want to talk trash, I can talk trash. If you want to talk ego, I can talk ego. If you want to talk tactics, I can talk tactics. I'm one of those people that I like to think I treat people how they treat me. If you say hello, sir, I will say hello, sir, for the rest of your life to you. That's what kind of person I am. Was that a bug? What was that?
Well, yeah, bugs everywhere, man.
Drago sends a super chat. He says, Grizz, your opinion on Chukwuemeka, highly rated Villa, open to selling for 20 million. He's refusing to extend. Big clubs after him. Yeah, very, very highly thought of. 20 million is taking a piss for a kid going into his last season, but that just shows you how much they value him at Villa. He was one of the outstanding players in the recent under-23 tournament.
Don't you think this transfer window over any other transfer window is teaching us that the value of a player is ultimately down to three things: contract left, how much the club selling him want him, and how much the club buying him want him. When people are like, oh, but he's not worth that. Well, if we don't want to sell him and that club want him, he is worth that. And that is ultimately it. Trying to understand it based on technical abilities is way and truly gone now. It's not there anymore. Yes, Mo, good guy. Good guy. You should get him on. He comes on Never Fail very often. He's one of our hosts. You should get him on. Very knowledgeable.
Okay,
very
cool.
Knowledgeable.
Mo, wish I could join. Mo, unfortunately, I'm coming up to 3 hours. I hate doing 3-hour streams.
Your Saturday shows are mad.
This is one of those for the people. I never do a 3-hour stream. People tell you only on the call-in show, only because the people just want to keep talking. I've had to stop about 20 people that can't come on that have been waiting. So, Mo, big up yourself.
Grid, message do you want me to leave this last one yourself?
No, you can say if you want. It's up to you.
Cool. No, I'm good.
No, okay, cool. I'm going to get on Gunnar because he's been waiting for ages. My brother, I'm so sorry to keep you waiting for so long, but thank you. You're finally here. How are you? Where are you calling from?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show. Honestly, it's been a great show. Just been listening to you guys. So I'm calling in from Senegal. Actually, I think it's the second time I've called in. So I called in round about the AFCON. So
Yes, sir. Apologize. It's all coming back to me now. Welcome back to my channel, my brother. What would you like to speak on?
No, been appreciating a lot of the chat you guys have been talking about, and I was just wondering because I think some of the last conversation really swayed what I was thinking, and I was wondering, as a Guna, I think we do criticize a lot of different structures within the club, and I think with the both of you, both your managers and your boards have done so well and have a consistency streak that shows why you support and believe in them, right? So I get supporting the club, but the club is a structure and there's different levels. There's also recruitment. And I think maybe this summer there is an emphasis on recruitment because there's that World Cup kind of like mid-season tie where now a lot of these top teams are now looking at that depth. And as much as like Liverpool and City have had these like injuries at different points through the last 2-3 seasons that have kind of swayed in hindsight. When we look back, we're like, oh, they should have recruited here, should have recruited there. But I think now there is an emphasis for all teams more teams within the Big Six that you need that depth, right? So I'm now wondering if you think your recruitment as well is keeping up with the level that it needs to, because I think with Liverpool, I've always thought they have the best recruitment in the league. And once City signed Haaland at the beginning of the window, I was like, okay, maybe they're also just putting through a lot of business a lot faster. But as it's gone on, it has kind of also started to drag where City have lost a lot of players now and could potentially still lose more. But Liverpool also haven't gotten in that many players. And as a Guna, I would say that my opinion of it is not so much a question about what's the better future strategy. It's more for this season in terms of the targets of winning the league or trying to compete in the Champions League. How is that going in terms of the focus of now versus the signing that you're bringing on for the next few years?
Me go first. You know what? You got it spot on. You really. That's a really good comment. Right. So we went into this window. So anyone watching this, I promise you, before you doubt me, Google it. Manchester City last season had a surprisingly small squad. I'm not talking about quality, but a surprisingly small squad. It's factual. I would not say it on as many streams as I've said it on without confirming it's factual. And this is, you have to remember, a squad, if they're under a certain age, you don't have to register them and all of that. And I feel like the end of the season, it took its toll. It got to a point where it was like, yes, we won the league, but it was hard. We had Fernandinho and Laporte putting injections in his leg to play, to the point where we had to write to Spain and say, can't play in these games because I've been playing with injury. And I think Pep thought, yeah, we need to let Ferran Torres go in January, not replacing him. Mendy ultimately is our left back, right? So then you look at who we brought in. We've replaced Aguero at last, and we've got Alvarez as an extra. We've let Jesus go, so that's Alvarez. We've now let Sterling go. Cucurella is not a Zinchenko replacement, he's a Mendy replacement. We're now letting Zinchenko go. Ake. Now, the Ake one was the one that started to worry me, because it's like, hold on, this is one step too many, because we're going to have to go and find a centre-back. Luckily, the board said, that's what you're offering, let's go and have a look. We've had a look, there's nothing out there, we're not selling him. Good. But our squad currently is not thicker than it was last season. Our squad is the same as it was last season. We do have more tools. I think that's the thing, because Calvin Phillips, I was thinking he's not as good in that position as Rodri. Then I had to remind myself he's not replacing Rodri. He's replacing Fernandinho. Sterling's gone. I think Sterling is gone, potentially slightly, because Cucurella, for the first time, is an actual left back. The last left back we had was Mendy. Pep would never play Mendy and Sane together down the left. Both hold width. So now we don't need the left winger, because we've got an actual left back that holds the width. So now we can play two strikers. So there's little changes that are going on. But if Ake had gone, Zinchenko goes. Well, forget Ake, he's staying. Zinchenko goes. We're now one player less again. So it is relevant that right now I'm looking at the squad thinking, especially if Bernardo Silva goes, it's like we went into the window and we were rating the transfer window very highly, especially with the young players going with buyback clauses, all of that. That's great, because we're starting to make money as well. But then we're going to end up going to the season potentially with less players. And then I don't know if this is social media, because I'm done with trying to understand my club's transfer strategy now, because I could call the Phillips, could call the Cucurella, could call all of that. The other stuff now with, I'm not really too sure. And when I see Neymar, I'm like, Grealish last season, I do believe Grealish will become a Pep-style player. I think Pep wanted him. But I'm not going to sit here and act like there was not some sort of commercial element in that deal. City fans will say, oh, no, he's a perfect Pep player. I'm not denying that. There was a commercial element in that deal, 100%. There was other midfielders that are Pep's type of players that were less. Haaland makes perfect sense from a striker, but also the City thing. Neymar will be one step too far for me, personally, because I'm like, I don't believe Pep has gone, this summer I want Haaland and Neymar. I don't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
Gunnar, I want to get your opinion on how you see the two states of the squads, the state of the two squads. And then obviously, if you want to speak on your club, feel free. It's your choice. It's your opinion. You don't have to speak on your club if you don't want to, because I promise always in the description that this is your choice, your club, your agenda. So, but I think it's only fair that maybe you have a chance to speak on it.
Yeah, appreciate that. I would say that, in my opinion, I think City has done a lot of recruitment. I think I very much agree with what Daps was saying in terms of it hasn't actually augmented the squad. It's sort of the same players, but you have different pieces to play with. Yeah. And I think for me, it is that also with Cucurella coming in, it makes sense why Zinchenko might go out, because he really was mainly utilized as a second choice left back. But the issue now, I think, is with City, João Cancelo could be used in the left back or right back position. So it still gives Pep a lot of flexibility in terms of where in which he plays. So I think it has to fit the style. And with that, I think City have kind of done their job. I do think that The issue is if Bernardo Silva leaves, it does tip it, I think, a little too far gone.
Yeah.
I think they've been covering their bases well enough, and they've been able to do that. I think if Bernardo Silva goes, to bring in a midfield of that quality, I think now you have to sort of like consider the other positions that he could play in, which he's played in a lot of positions for Cities, and he's shown that he can do a lot, right? So you can't really replace that. But with Haaland, maybe you also are shifting to new ideas and tactics. So like I think what Daps was saying was on point. Like I can't predict what City does, but I do think that they're still on track, I think, to compete very well in the league. Wouldn't say they've dropped below the 90-point threshold. So I think
No, we haven't. It's just injuries could ultimately. Last season we were pushed very close with injuries, and I thought Pep looked at it and thought, you know what, we need to not only replace what's leaving, but we probably need to replace Ferran Torres and maybe Aguero, so 2 extra players. You could say with McAtee and Cole Palmer that they have both been promised they're going to get more game time, and that Pep is saying, but I don't know. I don't think that's a Pep move. I know Grizz trusts his board. I trust my board. I trust my manager, and I have to just go with that now.
Gunnar, one of our channel members wants to ask: is Gunnar watching the friendly versus Everton right now? How come you're not watching? You're 2-1.
Back and forth.
Do Arsenal and Everton?
Yeah, they're playing in the US, so the time difference is a bit mad. But I was watching it back and forth, but not keeping up with it at this current moment. But yeah, I was gonna say, Daps, I do agree with you that I think the weird part for me with City is that what they're doing now is replacing a player for a player in the season, and most of their players haven't worked in their first season. I think they've gotten a ton of criticism, especially because they're bought in for like high fees and they're not necessarily, they're known as like very big names when they come in, but to adapt to the Pep system takes time. Players like Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, all of these players, you can see it takes more than a season to really adapt to that play style. So this one-on-one replacement is why I do kind of edge Liverpool as still doing very well and doing better in the recruitment. I still think City are doing well, but the players like Calvin Phillips is not going to jump into the squad this season. When I look at Haaland, I think he's going to be used a lot. But I do also think that you can play and change your style to him. How much Pep adjusts his style is the question as well. Because he demands a lot from his players. So how quickly Haaland can get to the level Pep needs is another question. Because Grealish wasn't able to do that this season. Where Pep wanted him to do certain things and he was getting along, but next season I want to see a lot more from him. So it's about
one game. There's one game I've got a big question on, right? And the question got answered last season when we played Demlot at Anfield. At Anfield, and Trent was injured, so Foden, who had been playing deeper, got switched, and Grealish had been playing wide left. When they found out Trent was injured, Foden got switched to wide left, and Grealish, I believe, got dropped, but he'd been starting till then. That was the question. 100 million player against the elites. Grealish got dropped, and Foden got played against Trent. Now, I do think there was a slight element that it was, against Milner, because Trent was injured. I do think that was relevant. That it was like, you know what, it's Milner, Foden's pace, and he could have, and I actually said that on the terrace. The minute someone said to me that Trent was injured, I was like, oh, they might do a change. Now, this is one thing I was saying from last summer when we were being linked with Haaland, that my one concern with the signing of Haaland or any striker with that much of a stigmatism around him is that a conversation has to be had with him that if we are playing against a team like Liverpool, who we have to dominate the midfield. And some City fans were saying, oh, it doesn't matter, we'll just outscore them. No, dummy, you don't outscore anyone if you don't win the midfield battle, because you don't get the opportunities. So someone, I hope, has had the conversation with Haaland and said, if we're playing Liverpool in September or October at Anfield, you might have to hold bench because the false nine has to come into play. We have to have 4 midfielders on that pitch. Have to. Otherwise, Liverpool would dominate the midfield, and Haaland, you won't get that much delivery. Now, they are the type of awkward conversations that has to be had at this level. Doesn't matter who's coming in, and that is the one that interests me, because the Pep Zlatan thing before, wasn't great, and there are games where it does suit City to play 4 in midfield. It's that simple.
I mean, people have this conversation about Pep where he can't use the classic number 9, but he did it at Bayern. So
He can do it, but it's not
like
to do with
Lewandowski
Pep. It's to do with
signed-
Liverpool.
Well,
They're too good.
I think it's in and how you choose the team, because Lewandowski proved he was one of the best, and Pep kept him through even his hardest games. He wasn't rotated, right? So he does have that. He does have that where he can hold a number 9 in his team. So for me, I do see where you're coming with in terms of the midfield battle, but I do also think sometimes Pep is kind of seen as he wants to play with the false 9 more so. I think he's used the false 9 because he's seen the talent in his players. So if Haaland can step up and do it, then he can do it. Then Pep will keep him. I would jump to. I just wanted to add a few comments on Arsenal since Grizz gave me the chance.
Yeah, go through.
I was just going to say, it's time to speak on your club now. I know you've tried to avoid it the best you can and speak on our clubs, but it's time to speak on your club. But I think it's positive, so I'm going to let you, because we've gone over the 3-hour limit. I don't normally go over the 3-hour call-in, but this call-in's been special. Special. There's still over 150 people in at 1 a.m. on a Saturday morning. You guys are
That's the
legends.
like button if you're still in there and you haven't done it.
Talk to me. Arsenal, you got a couple of minutes though.
Yeah, I'll make it quick. I think where I think a lot of teams do well is when you have a good recruitment structure and the manager. There needs to be like chemistry with that. And I think, like you're talking about Klopp and Liverpool structure and Pep also having a few members from the Barcelona board, I think you create those structures. I'm seeing, especially this transfer window, some of Edu's influence with Arteta is positive for the club. In my mind, I do still think we're a few steps behind, like even competing within the league. So I think our targets are very different. Where the trophies that you may be trying to compete in are very different. This is our season back in Europe. Arteta needs to show me that he can compete in Europe again, because the first season he was in, I think that was when we crashed out very early and then had a long FA Cup run and were able to win it. The second season crashed out very early against, I think it was Olympiacos, which was just terrible. So can he actually be able to rotate his team and actually work within having these packed fixture lists? Because last season he got a bit more freedom, but that's not so much a criticism. It's more so that in the early stages there were a lot of problems with the clubs, and the overturn has been also with recruitment. And I think the chemistry has been showing. There was a defensive overhaul, and I think now we've now gotten a lot more of the players in the midfield and other areas like going forward. Now it's a question for this season. I think with the Jesus move, I think that was an amazing move. I think that was a perfect number 9 for, I think, what Arteta wants to do and what I think he could be able to do, because I think Jesus is a very versatile player who can drop in. And I think when we saw Lacazette versus Aubameyang, Lacazette's ability to drop in actually improved the team versus Aubameyang's like just goal getting outright. And I think Jesus has an element of both, but not on the level that both of them have. With that, I also do think there's still a lot of recruitment that still needs to happen. If Zinchenko does come in, I think that's cover for Tierney, which I think is also very huge. But I also see Zinchenko as a midfield option, because I think when we're playing in maybe the Europa League, give him a chance in that like number 8 position a bit further forward. Then he can show whether or not he can come into the Premier League. Whether or not we're there yet, I'm yet to see. But I do think that he has the potential to play against like some of the lower teams, even within the Premier League, because he knows the Premier League. So I think Zinchenko would be a huge acquisition, but I also still need to see one more player, and I would think that's in the attack. Because I think the way we've burnt through Saka's legs in the past 2-3 seasons, he's played every game. So he needs some rotation and some competition. Pepe isn't that for me at this point. And Arteta is also clearly showing that he doesn't use it. So if I were to put it on a scale, I would say that we're having a good transfer window so far. I think Edu and Arteta are bringing together some ideas. Would I say that now it's taking us to the level we can compete with Chelsea, United, Tottenham? I'm still doubting that, because I need to see a few more names sign in. I think I still need to see at least 2 players. But we were very close.
So far, so good. Exactly.
Yeah. So
Gunnar, I think that's a very fair assessment. I'm not going to lie.
The whole thing was everything
Yeah,
you
I
said.
think your assessment is very, very spot on. It literally does depend how you end it. If you end it with that one player that we all kind of think that you need one more, just to make it a very good window for Arsenal, considering you're not in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to bear that in mind. I think you're spot on. Listen, it's been a pleasure speaking to you. Hopefully, next time we speak, well, we'll see. You might have got that extra player in, and you could be ready to take a right assault on that fourth place this time, because I think it will be fantastic race between you guys, United, Spurs. Wow, Chelsea. I couldn't call it. Honestly, I couldn't. No, honestly, I couldn't.
No, I was waiting for you to see where you put Chelsea, whether they were with us or them. Yeah.
Us, man, behave. You know that.
Thank you.
I would say that I would rather see Arteta go and win the Europa League. I think it's about time he gets a trophy versus just getting into the top four. So for me, it was a blessing in disguise not making it into the Champions League, because we do not have a squad to field two teams. And like you said, we do have enough players in and around to be able to go. But maybe a controversial opinion. Hopefully, if we keep adding a few players, then I would say that I'm confident we can get that top four, but not as confident just yet. All right,
that's
thank
fair.
you so much for
That's
having
very
me.
fair. It's been a pleasure, my friend. Take care of yourself. Look after yourself. Bye-bye.
For sure.
There's one more caller that's been waiting forever, man, and he's new as well. I always try to promise new callers, man, but he hasn't got his camera
going
on.
extra hours. I can tell you really don't want to as well.
Musa, Musa, I hope you're real and you're not a troll or nothing. You haven't had a camera on. I'm going to bring you into the stream. Sometimes it's risky, sometimes it's not, but he's been a long time waiting. Welcome to the stream, Musa.
Nice one. I appreciate it.
Okay, you sound like a gentleman. We can continue. You know what? When I didn't see your camera for ages, I thought,
Yeah,
but
sorry about that, bro.
No problem. I like to take risks sometimes, and the best time to take a risk is like 1 a.m. in the morning. You know, when no one's in the
you can take the whole stream down real quick.
Where are you calling from? What do you want to speak about, bro?
Yeah, Northwest. Big up to you. Obviously doing massive work, mate. Amazing work, and big up to the chat. I just wanted to give a positive outlook, really. I just think Jurgen I think he's done an amazing job, phenomenal job, and I think people forget that, in the midst of the season and what's going on, etc. But I think people get caught up in these moments, and they need to just enjoy the ride, really. The fan base just need to enjoy the ride, enjoy what we're doing, because these times are unique, and I just think it's been a blessing that we've got Jurgen. Really just wanted to keep it short and sweet as well. I think in the midfield we require one more midfielder. I think Matthias, he's a baller. I think we should get him into the midfield. If we do, I think then we're sorted. What else? I think Fabio Carvalho as well. I think he's like a £60 million signing in my eyes, even though he was bought for real cheap. But I think he's going to be a baller as well. But he's going under the radar because of the fee. But yeah, I think pretty much that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to keep it short and sweet. And
Musa,
love the show, love the
Musa,
chat.
I think Carvalho could be bigger answer than you lot think.
100%. But Musa, because you've waited so patiently and so respectfully, I know you wanted to keep it short and sweet, and you have kept it short and sweet. But I'm gonna let you stay on a little bit more because you've been so patient and respectful. So I'm gonna ask you. Yeah, I'm gonna ask you something, Musa. Yeah. So you said we should enjoy the ride, we should enjoy the moment. We should. Like in terms of we should be grateful for where we are.
Yeah.
Can I play devil's advocate? And when I say that, can I become a fan who says, why should we accept where we are? We're Liverpool Football Club. We should be demanding the most every single time, because as you said, these days are glorious, but are they really, really glorious? Because we've won one title and one Champions League, and we've reached a lot of finals and we've come really close. So what would you respond to someone like Selection says, we want to win, not just enjoy the moment. Like Selection's a regular in the chat who
Yeah.
just wants perfection. What would you say to people that just want perfection?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that. Obviously, I don't get frustrated at times. I want a winning mentality, and we're a massive club, and we should have that winning mentality. But the thing is, you got to also remember where we were before Jurgen Klopp. The Kenny Dalglish era, Roy Hodgson era, all of that, and then obviously from there to where we are now. It's pretty remarkable, really. These rival fans get a bit of a buzz from Nunes missing a shot or whatever else. But people need to remember as well that Jurgen Klopp, he's made Lewandowski.
Did he?
Just I think his development
Did he?
was
didn't know
down
that.
to.
Oh yeah, of course, Dortmund. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
He literally built him up to be one of the best strikers in the world. So I think he's in very good hands, and I think we need to trust Jurgen.
What you've just said there, the two you've just said there, I can answer on both of them as a rival fan. So firstly, as a rival fan, let me tell you, from the minute you signed Darwin Núñez, and I did a show about players that strikers City could sign in January, and Darwin Núñez was on the list. And at the point, his goal per game ratio was not the same because this season was phenomenal. However, I've said every time I've spoken it, Jurgen Klopp generally gets it right. Jurgen Klopp generally doesn't get that much money. Like, he can't go to them and say, give me 100 million, want to go and buy a player. He has to justify it, right? So Jurgen Klopp, who generally gets it right, has had to go to your board and justify the amount of money for this player, which means he's seen things in him that he rates. So if people say all he can do is score goals or whatever it is, whatever Jurgen has seen is relevant to the system you play. The same energy I have with why Pepper's sold Sterling. There's a reason. We trust our managers. They've done it for a reason. He's gone and worked very hard to convince your board to spend that money on Darwin Núñez. So I do not doubt that he will fit in however Jurgen wants him to fit in. He believes him, and generally Jurgen gets it right. Now, also, I've said I'm not going to slander Darwin Núñez because we've just spent money on Haaland, right? And I can tell you now, everyone's waiting for one Haaland flop to post everything everywhere. So I'm not leaving receipts on Núñez because that will. However, if someone tweets something about Darwin Núñez missing a shot, I'm going to retweet it. I'm sorry. Although I can sit here and have I'm going to sit here and have a sensible conversation deep down. But of course, I'm going to banter about the fact that the guy headed the ball like he was clearing his own box. But deep down, I can see.
Of course, look,
that's football, isn't it? It's football.
Of course, that's tribalism, man. This is how it comes. This is what banter's about. We've been doing it. We've been slagging Rashford, Martial, Lukaku, all these big name strikers that have come and gone for other teams and not worked. Lacazette, Pepe, Grealish. We always slagging.
You have to say it, bro. You have to say it, of course.
All this, of course. When you come with that price tag, rival fans, that's their job.
Yeah.
And the players' job and the players and the coach's job who's getting bantered is to prove them wrong, and that's the way it goes. There's no problem with that. Musa, people are highly suspicious of you not being Musa. They think you're Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because you sound like him. Can you confirm?
We found him at last.
Look, John says, Musa, are you Norwegian by any chance? Because that accent sounds familiar. Can you confirm you're not Norwegian?
No.
It sounds Norwegian Northern.
Yeah, where you from, bro?
Northwest.
Oh, okay, cool.
It has got the Norwegian tint to it.
Yeah, it's a cool accent. I like it. I like the northern accent. I'm not gonna lie to you.
What I was trying to say is, if that's the only buzz rival fans can get, then I'll take.
Let's hope that is the only buzz that they get, because if it turns out that game week 8, 9, he still hasn't scored and he's fluffing and he's looking like a fish out of water, then yeah, we're gonna have to hold it, bro. That's the way football tribalism works. We have to hold it, we have to accept it, and we have to wait for it. But I'm pretty certain it's gonna be good. I'm pretty certain it's gonna be fine. It's just the way it works, man. Social media, that's what it's about. While you're here, Musa, I'm gonna read out a super chat before we call it quits, man. Selection, my friend says, Man City is in talks with Jude Bellingham, according to Zishan. Spooky. That's why I wanted to say to what's his name, Zishan. Zishan is a good friend of mine, and if Zishan is saying that, then I have every reason to believe it. I didn't need Zishan to tell me, but I was going to tell Daps. Jude Bellingham will 100%, 97% be at Liverpool or Man City.
But we dropped to 97. Oh, Liverpool or Man City?
Yes. There's no other club that his representatives are looking to talk to. Real Madrid can come in for him. Bayern Munich can come in for him. Anyone can come in for him. He has relayed to his people, his family, his agent, everyone. It's a straight shootout between us two. I was chatting to Steve the other day as well. And I told him when I heard about this, when I told him that you guys are in for Bellingham big time, he's like, "Oh, okay."
I thought we would be.
Yeah, it's going to be
going next season. It makes every sense.
Yeah, it's going to be a straight shootout. Pep wants Jude Bellingham. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry knows we want Bellingham. But from what I believe, and from what I've been told, we have the advantage because his just like Haaland and Man City, his father is a Liverpool fan. His family they want him to be a Liverpool, but Bellingham has got a lot of time for Pep, and we know the pull of Pep is as huge as the pull of Klopp.
It makes sense it would be between them two, to be honest with you.
It's a straight shootout, but guys, no one can tell you otherwise. No, people will try to tell you otherwise. Who gets him? I can't tell you right now, but they're both. It's a straight shootout between them two. 100%. In fact, 100% he ends up at Liverpool.
Between us two.
Yeah, straight shootout.
Wow.
No one else. Straight shootout.
You know what? I'm good with that because that eliminates all the other clubs, bro.
No, he's got no eyes for anyone else. He's a guy who doesn't go for all that. He's straight Premier League. I can't tell the information where it's come from, but it's come from what I can tell is it's come from someone very, very close to his family.
Jude.
In terms of a manager, coach of a lower league club in Wales. That's the only hint I'm going to give, so we can work it out from there. No one's going to be able to work it from there. But it is what it is. So that's something to look forward to, guys. It's been amazing.
That's a season's worth of content.
Musa, love speaking to you, my friend. We enjoy.
Yeah, you too, mate.
I hope to catch you again real soon. Feel free to call in another call-in show, my brother.
Yeah. Okay.
Take care, bro.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, man. Daps, man. Fuck's sake, man. Nearly 3.5 hours. This is madness for me.
Oh, work rate.
It's flow. Yeah, man. Exactly, man. This is what Little Man's saying. He goes, Grizz, by the way, you and Daps have good chemistry. Daps is always honest. Can count on that. That's what I like about it. This is why we clash.
Yeah, we clash for fun.
We argue, we talk, yeah. We argue, we don't agree, we disagree, no problem. But yeah, at the end of the day, we're here to shake hands and talk about our clubs with the passion that we both think they deserve. He deserves Man City's passion. I deserve Liverpool, being passionate for Liverpool. At the end of the day, we're brothers and mates off the pitch.
That's it, and it's not toxic neither.
No. Fuck toxicity, man. Fuck toxicity, man. We ain't here for that shit. But people, good night, all of you. Great stuff. Thank you very much, Pixelate Pigeon, man. You're a legend as well. Big up all yourselves. Fucking hell, man. It's been a mad one. Until the next call-in show, take care. We out of here.